This is Texas. This is not.
There are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
This is Texas. This is not.
The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us.
This is Texas. This is not.
They're going to call me a radical leftist.
This is Texas. This is not.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children.
This is Texas. This is not.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
This is Texas. This is not.
It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption. I am proud to say that our campaign has officially become a non-meat campaign.
This is Texas. This is not.
Fire from the Ken Paxton campaign. Awesome job there. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Neighborhood, aka Good Logic. I hope you're all doing well. I hope things are going well for you. That's my hope for you. And I mean it sincerely. I really do hope things are going well for you. Tonight, I got so much going on for you. We got E. Jean Carroll, who is purportedly being probed. Now, over the last couple of hours, there have been some claims that perhaps that probe is not ongoing. So we're going to look into that, what the conflicting message is, what she's potentially being probed for. Also, Trump had a huge win. It's not really even a win for him. It's a win on his EEO, which is a win for all of us. We need to have those wins keep on coming because this is an issue which is going to be litigated very hotly over the next 2 to 3 months. We're going to see a lot of litigation on this topic, which so far tonight, he shockingly got a win in, of all places, the District Court of the District of Columbia. Yes, a district court judge sided with Trump. Amazing. And there's countless other legal matters that are going on that you need to know about. From Trump suing the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion. I've got case after case for you tonight that I want to go over. These are the things you really ought to know. So make sure you stick around, settle in there, buckle up. There's gonna be a hell of a ride tonight. And we even have a goal that if we get 15 super chats quantities of $10 or more, it does not need to be super chats. It could be Rumble Rants, it could be Digger dollars, it could be shekels raining down from the sky. You managed to make that come? That works. Right? It could be PayPal pennies. It doesn't matter. As long as they're in quantities of $10 or more, we'll count it. And if we hit that goal of 15 or more of those, well, in that case, we will be looking at a Saturday night show. That's right, late night Saturday night, which I look like a DJ. So I think it probably be appropriate. And of course, it would not be Third Person Thursday night without having the inestimable Jim Satala.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Great to see you.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Give me some lowdown. What's going on with you?
With me?
Yeah, what's going on with you?
Not the same old. Just spent the day with my grandkids.
Oh, all right. How many grandkids do you have?
2.
Boy, girl?
2 boys.
2 boys. Nice. All right. Well, that's awesome. Spending time with grandkids is awesome. So anyhow, I'm not gonna pry any further into the personal life of Jim Satala, though I know our audience is dying to hear.
You can see I was in the pool most of the day. My hair's messed up. I didn't really comb it and didn't get around to it. So
yeah, I really can see you wearing a shirt that's green, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I see a yellow super chat. I just have no idea.
It says testing the chat counter. The chat counter has been broke in YouTube for some reason. I don't know what the deal is, but it's broke. Doesn't work.
Is it working now?
Probably not. I don't know what the deal is.
It doesn't look like it's working. Of course not. But I do a pretty good job of keeping track, even with that. Even if they don't keep count, you just recognize this, YouTube folk. It's like you're in Rumble. You have no idea how many have gone out there unless you're keeping track of yourself.
I did hear someone told me that they fixed something. StreamYard fixed something where now when people gift memberships in YouTube, it'll actually show up in
not the names of the people.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, I got a notice from StreamYard about that also, but I don't know how it's any different. The only thing that I notice is different is that they highlight the color. So, in other words, if someone gifts 20, it'll pop up in red, for $5 a piece, and they basically spend $100. It'll pop up in red like that, so you'll know. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's not. That's the major difference that I noticed in StreamYard so far. But have you been watching the situation with Tallarico and how we're already deep into campaign season? This is going to be a very expensive.
The whole thing is very upsetting. The fact that the RNC spent $150 million trying to defend Cornyn, and that money could have been used all around the country to elect other people. They really should rethink. You shouldn't be spending that kind of money to protect an incumbent in a primary. That's just dumb.
If you give a penny to win red, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
that's basically what they're telling you. That's what Mitch McConnell, I think, runs the treasury funds for the RNC, or his office. Because frankly, I don't know if this guy is like, is running. I don't know if he's running anything anymore. So, but he was the one who was handling those finance distributions. And if you give any money, I'm telling you right now, every one of you, never, ever, ever, ever give a penny to win red. Never. Nothing. They don't deserve a nickel. Not a nickel. Because they basically spend it in ways you're going to hate. You might as well give it to Act Blue. Might as well. It's no better. It's disgusting. If you have a candidate you like, donate directly to the candidate. Do not give it. Don't give general money to win red, because they're disgusting. You're correct. There should not be a penny spent on any primary. There should be no such thing as money being spent on primaries. That doesn't make any sense. There's no logic behind it. There's no benefit to the Republican Party. All it is, it's choosing Republicans that the establishment likes, which is ridiculous. So, yeah. Anyway, but this is going to be a very expensive campaign. There's no question. And I'll tell you that I'm fairly confident that there's nothing from a remotely conservative position which makes Tallarico, you can't even stomach him. There's so many bad things about him. And this is you want to see Western Lensman dug up a clip of James Tallarico.
He said so many things that are just so outrageous, like, oh, the Bible's silent on abortion. Really? That whole "thou shalt not kill," that's not in there anywhere? No?
Silent on abortion. He says that's, although I will tell you this. I will tell you this. Torah doesn't say anything directly about abortion, but there is a whatchamacallit. There are a few veiled references to basically offset it, because Torah does not recognize a fetus as human life, but it still is against Torah to have an abortion, unless it's to protect the life of the life or limb of the mother. So she's gonna, like, if it's gonna wreck her uterus, that would be a reason. Like, it's gonna wreck an organ of hers, that would be a reason. Or it's potentially gonna kill her, that would be a reason to have an abortion. But short of that, we don't believe it. Because and the logic behind that, the reason why we view it that way is because you're not allowed to just destroy something for no reason at all. That's considered, a grave sin to destroy. And the human potential, the potential of a human life has fantastical value. But the reason we allow for abortion in those circumstances is because basically we look at the fetus as if it's an attacker against the woman. Because the fetus is an entity which may not be born. The woman is an entity who is here, and we value life that is here over something that, is when you have a question of something that's certain versus something that's potential, you always go with the certain. So that's why the life and limb of the mother will always take priority under Torah law. But this is what this jackass says about voter ID. So every position he takes is just wrong from a Texan perspective.
Are you okay with voter ID? So voter ID is currently required in the state of Texas. I opposed having to
How
have
about
a
for
driver's
mail-in
license
ballots?
to vote.
How about having to send your ballot in? Should you have to prove who
Sorry,
you are? Because that's
Pete,
what Democrats are opposing.
Pete, I just said I oppose voter ID. Currently, it's a law in Texas, but I oppose that law because I think you don't need
oppose voter ID. You don't think the most sacred obligation of our republic, you should have to prove who you are in order to vote?
So there are a lot of Texans, actually hundreds of thousands, who don't have a driver's license.
He has no chance. He has no chance. I don't
Hundreds of thousands of Texans who don't have a driver's license.
Yeah, they're 15 or under. Hundreds of thousands. I don't know what he's talking about there. I also don't know what this is saying either because I'm
all for Maverick.
Who's Maverick?
You're Maverick with the glasses.
Oh, nice. That's thank you. I'll take that. I'll take it. All right. I'll go with Maverick. These are actually my son's shades. He's the one who ordered these. And I've been borrowing them. Anyway, let's get in here on the E. Jean Carroll story because I think my audience here wants to know what the heck is happening there. So I want to break that down for you so we're all on the same page as to what's happening with E. Jean
Put 3
Carroll.
links in the private chat if you want. You might want to start with those.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you want to start with those exactly, but I mean, I guess.
I'm going to assume Jim knows best. So if I can ever actually find our private chat because I have problems here with my vision. I'm going in order of what you're giving me.
Yeah,
I actually have some links. Yeah, okay.
They're all from Viva, so.
Okay, but I actually want to have an overview of the story first. Is that what you're starting with?
No, well, that's basically what I guess it's kind of an overview of the story.
All right, whatever. Let's just. I'll have confidence in you. All right. So let me see. I can just. This is the glasses are really a problem. All right, here we go. That's not good.
Another thing that he and his lawyers have often spoken about is the lack of disclosure about a big Democratic donor funding part of this case. Was there a reason it wasn't disclosed, and did you view this as political in any way?
No, I just completely forgot.
A big Democratic donor.
Not at all political.
I completely forgot that he even existed.
In your deposition?
Yes, in my deposition.
My team looked at it and thought.
Understand this. There have been reports circulating all over X that basically claim that the DOJ has opened a probe into an investigation into E. Jean Carroll to see whether or not she committed perjury. Specifically, during the course of her deposition, she was questioned as to whether or not her litigation against Trump, where you might recall she's the woman who alleged that Trump sexually assaulted her in a Bergdorf and Goodman's back in the 1990s in a lawsuit that was propped up by the state of New York, where they changed the law specifically so that she could sue Trump, and she succeeded in getting a jury award of $90 million. Not simply for that, but then there was a whole defamation case which arose from it. There's been a lot of ongoing litigation between the two of them, but she now currently, I believe, still holds a $90 or $94 million judgment against Trump. And during the course of her deposition, she was asked, has anyone been financing your litigation? And she said no. And this is Reid Hoffman, billionaire Reid Hoffman, big fat slob Reid Hoffman, who's a notorious lefty who despises Trump, talking about his involvement in the E. Jean Carroll.
Who did make many trips to Epstein Island.
Well, I was going to go there.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if you didn't know.
In the E. Jean Carroll litigation.
In your deposition?
Yes, in my deposition.
My team looked at it and thought that it was.
That's Reid Hoffman.
That her voice should be heard. That because she was challenging someone who's so much more wealthy and powerful, it shouldn't be squashed, and that providing that voice for people who are otherwise would be ground down by the system or the powerful is, I think, a good thing. Obviously, especially in the case of women, and obviously, especially in the case of sexual and other torture and attack and so providing that support was something that I felt very happy to do. Providing that support was something that I felt very happy to do.
Providing that support is something I felt very happy to do. Reportedly, his support meant $7 million that Eugene Carroll just pretends
I just completely forgot.
She never saw. Just completely
that he
forgot.
Even existed.
I forgot this guy who gave me $7 million even existed.
This whole thing stinks to high heaven because she spoke to George, whatever his name is, the fat slob that used to be married to Kellyanne Conway. George
Conway. Yeah.
He's the one who gave her the attorney. He's probably the one who connected this guy in. You know what I mean? It's probably was all. There's probably a conspiracy here, and I think that's where the investigation is going personally, to look at the conspiracy.
A conspiracy to what? See, that's what I'm wondering.
To defraud the American people? I don't know.
It's a personal suit against Trump.
He was president at the time. I don't know. I'm just saying there's some kind of conspiracy. You paid money. It was political.
This was started during.
It started while he was president.
Still, I don't know that would qualify for conspiracy to bankrupt him individually, or attempt to bankrupt him individually. I don't know that would qualify as conspiracy. I don't know. I think it's. We don't really talk about a conspiracy to financially harm someone else.
No, I'm saying a conspiracy to defraud the American people by coming up with this story, bankrolling it, hiding it, being sneaky, and then it affects the voting. So you're defrauding the American people by coming up with this bullshit story.
By creating a news cycle?
Yeah, by creating the news to try to affect the upcoming election so that Biden could win. I don't know. I would say guilty if I was on the jury.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. But that doesn't mean that. It sounds like a little bit. It sounds like a little bit of a push. I'm just
a stretch. Yeah.
I'm being real with you. It sounds like a little bit of a push to me. Anyway, this is from her transcript. This is the actual transcript where she lied under oath, seemingly.
Another thing that he and his lawyers have often spoken about is the lack of disclosure about a big Democratic donor funding part of this case. Was there a reason it wasn't disclosed, and did you view this as political in any way?
No, I just completely forgot.
Yes, right in the transcript there it says that George Conway. She spoke to George Conway. George Conway set her up with the lawyer and everything. So George probably set her up with the funding. So. If they got communications, more than likely, there's probably more communications that they're going to get.
But there's something else that's very strange to me, because $7 million in fees is that's a lot of legal fees. That's a lot, and I understand that legal fees can quickly add up, but $7 million is a lot of money in legal fees. Why would she think it's a contingency case? That's what she wrote here. Are you presently paying your counsel's fees? And she said this is a contingency case. Which contingency, in case you're unfamiliar with that term, contingency case means that often you'll see with all these attorneys who usually will work in personal injury.
Yeah.
And tort it can be intentional torts, which defamation is an intentional tort, because the tort, let me just speak non-lawyerese for those of you who are unfamiliar with these different terms. Tort means you harm another person. That's what the tort means. Now, you can have intentional torts or unintentional torts. Unintentional torts are your classic personal injuries. Someone slips and falls. Someone is negligent and negligently drives into someone, hits them with their car. Malpractice is usually assumed to be, it's negligent, like you negligently committed legal malpractice, medical malpractice, some sort of malpractice in your construction of a house. All of these different things are considered unintentional torts. Intentional torts are assault, battery, conversion. Conversion means theft, that you steal from them, or false imprisonment. Those are your four main categories of ABCF: assault, battery, conversion, and false imprisonment. So those are your four categories of intent. And the D in that is defamation. or you intentionally defame someone. So it's A, B, C, D, F. So there are 5 forms of intentional tort. That you intentionally was lying about someone and harming their reputation. That is something that's an intentional tort. Now, unintentional torts, your negligence cases, are almost always going to be on a contingency. And attorneys are very, very select on what cases they will touch and which ones they will not, depending on, first and foremost, how established they are. The more established they are, the more careful they are about not investing their time into cases that they deem are not going to have a very significant award. And when it comes to intentional torts, so those are invariably going to be on a contingency. Contingency means that the lawyer is not going to charge you any fees. There's no fees at all. What they do is they lay out, because there's sometimes expenses that are incurred during the course of the litigation, and those expenses are expenses like for court filing fees or court reporters for, like, deposition, or if you have an expert, you need to bring an expert in on the case. So they'll shell out of their own pocket. When it comes time that they actually collect their money, in those scenarios, they'll take back the monies they laid out off the top. And in the retainer agreement, it'll say that, hey, the client is going to get 2/3 and the lawyer will get 1/3. Sometimes they have a different sliding scale. It depends on the nature of it. That's when you're talking about unintentional torts like negligence, like your slip and fall, your car accident, things of that nature. When you're talking about intentional torts, they tend to veer away from being contingency. By and large, it's not common to take it on a contingency. Why is it that attorneys will take contingency cases when it comes to negligence and unintentional torts? It's because you have an insurance company. So you feel like, if I win, I look at this case, I feel like there's a good chance we're going to win or get a settlement offer. I'm confident that I will get paid, because when I'm taking on contingency, if I don't make money, if you don't make money, I get nothing. I am screwed. So I can work hours and hours, dozens, hundreds of hours on a case, get a judgment, and the guy who I got a judgment against has no money. And if there's no insurance company to back him up, so that's great. I got this nice big piece of paper which says I'm owed all this money, but I'm not getting anything out of it. So the reason why in negligence cases, lawyers are a little quicker to jump onto it is because they're confident that they will ultimately get paid, because there's almost always going to be some form of insurance. So that's why they'll take it on contingency. When it comes to intentional torts, it's much, much rarer that there is insurance that's going to be available to cover it, because normally no insurance agency will say, oh yeah, if you go punch someone in the face, we'll cover your liability for that. If you falsely imprison someone, you steal from someone, you defame from someone, we'll cover you for that. That's not the sort of thing that insurance companies will cover for. So normally, because there's no insurance company as a deep pocket, so attorneys are going to be much more hesitant about working on a contingency for an intentional tort, because they're afraid they're not going to get paid. The difference is sometimes they might, if they feel as if the defendant is a deep pocket. So when it comes to a defamation case against Donald Trump, you would think to yourself, well, most defamation cases, they would charge you hourly instead of taking on a contingency. But because it's Donald Trump, you feel like he probably has a lot of attachable assets that will be able to cover whatever award you get. It's possible that they would take it on a contingency. So when she comes in there and says that she took this is a contingency case, that probably surprised them a little bit, because even when it's a wealthy guy like Donald Trump, finding the assets and seizing them and getting them can be a massive struggle. A massive, massive struggle. It's not easy to do. It's very, very, very hard work. So even if the guy's rich, I don't care if it's Elon Musk, it's very hard to get money from an individual. From a company, it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier when you're going after a company. It's much, much more challenging with respect to an individual, which is why almost always, even if the guy is a wealthy guy like Donald Trump, they're still not going to want to take it on a contingency. They want to take it hourly. So I'm sure that when she said this is a contingency case, that surprised them, which is why they have, they follow up with, so you're not paying expenses or anything out of pocket to date. Is that correct? And she said, I'm not sure about expenses. I have to look that up. It would be very weird. It'd be very weird in a contingency case for her to be paying stuff out of pocket. You almost never see that. But again, attorneys are free to craft whatever agreement they want that the client will agree with. Although there is
in some like very complex, expensive cases, don't they sometimes take investors? Like so the insurance, so that the law firm's not like laying out all this money, like whenever, you've got to hire like medical experts and other stuff, and you're going to be laying out hundreds of thousands of dollars on expenses or millions of dollars. It could be.
I've never dealt with this scenario that you're talking about, although I have heard about it, that sometimes people will invest in a case, that they'll be like, okay, we want to be part of the retainer and we'll get a piece of the action here when you're successful, and we'll help cover we'll cover some of the costs. Usually that's not going to be in a contingency case. Usually that I would think. Although I don't know, if you're an investor, you'd be happy to have an insurance company. I'm not sure in what scenarios. I haven't had to deal with those.
Well, I was just getting at. I wonder if that's what Hoffman's role was, an investor in the case, as opposed to somebody just paying the fees.
I don't know. He in his interview there.
His interview, it sounds like he was just being Mr. Nice Guy.
I'm Mr. Noble. I'm so noble. Oh, I'm just worried about standing up for a woman who's going to, struggle against the big bad bully Trump. Yeah, but yeah, that's basically why, and then they follow up with, is anyone else paying your legal fees, Ms. Carroll? She says no. And that's something that, like, okay, that's on the record. And it's perjury, just the same as if she said it in court. It's no different. It's just the same type of perjury because she's swearing it under oath. And yeah.
Would the lawyers be possibly on the hook for suborning perjury? Because they clearly would know.
That's a great question. If we were dealing in a jurisdiction, I believe this is probably in New York, if we were dealing in a jurisdiction which was really had a level playing field, with a bar association which had a level playing field and was actually looking to go after people, the bar association here would be looking at these lawyers very, very sternly. Now, the bar association in the state of New York and most bar associations are very, very strongly left-leaning. So they're going to be on the side of E.G. Carroll's attorneys. But I'll tell you right now, if I was sitting there as an attorney, I would have been like, after she answered the question, I would have said, excuse me, I need a minute with my client, taking her outside and basically saying, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? Because and then you basically go back in there and you correct the record and you have her basically, you don't want to basically argue with her in front of the other attorney or on camera, or whatever is the nature of this form of deposition. But yeah, I agree with you. That's suborning perjury here. To me, this comes across because they know how they're getting paid. Now, it's possible, I should caveat, it's possible but highly unlikely, but I do want to open up this possibility for you. It's possible that sometimes law firms will hire an attorney to come in and handle deposition who's not part of the firm. So the attorney sitting there would not know what it was. I guess it's also theoretically possible, if it's a big enough firm, that the attorney who's handling the case would not be aware of what the terms of the retainer agreement are. So you would have, one person who brought her in and is the rainmaker, and then they assign it out to Carroll to go handle the case, and Carroll has no idea what the terms of the agreement. She never bothers.
Instead of the partner doing it, a first year associate or someone to go handle a deposition, just it's a deposition.
Yeah, because when you're sitting there as an attorney in deposition, although I think over here the attorney, there was, I don't know if it's the same attorney who handled her deposition as the one who was deposing Trump. It's much easier work sitting there next to a client who's being deposed than it is doing the deposition. Whoever's asking the questions is doing the bulk of the heavy lifting, because you have to think through how you're structuring your deposition, how to keep it moving, how to make sure you're getting proper answers, making sure you're covering all your topics, making sure that if they're dodging your questions, how to pin them down, how to phrase your questions in a proper way. When you're sitting there as the attorney on behalf of the client who's being deposed, you're basically looking to see, is there any sort of screw up in the way they worded their question? Is my client drowning? And, and if so, is there any way I can throw a life preserver there? And the bulk of the work for the attorney in that position is in the prep beforehand, because the attorney who's sitting shotgun with the deponent is the one who preps them, is almost always going to be the one who's prepped them. And they'll basically spend a lot of time hitting on them on what key elements they must know these facts. I'm going to remind you, this is what we put in the complaint, and you remember this happening. You're not allowed to lie. When you get up there, tell the truth. But I just want to make sure that you remember that, the store that this happened in was Bergdorf and Goodman, right? Yes. And, and you would say, okay, and you're going to basically be drilled about, what year it was. You don't remember exactly what year. Just tell them the best of your recollection. Don't worry about that. Beyond that, we've already survived the motion to dismiss if we're in the deposition stage. And you would basically be saying, But the key elements there are, whatever details you stressed in your complaint and you're planning on moving forward with and making the point when you get to trial, those are the ones you want them to hit on. The rest of it, you'll be like, if you don't remember, you can always just say, I don't remember.
I had read somewhere, I don't remember exactly where, that this Reid Hoffman guy was also involved with the Christine Blasey Ford deal.
He's been involved in several. He's been involved
several
in
of these things,
public,
right? Because maybe they learned their lesson with that one, where you can't give an exact year and date, because what if the guy's got records, and someone like Trump would probably have calendars and stuff.
Saying.
You know what I mean?
Both these women making these allegations are women who basically can't remember what can't like the entire decade was blacked out for them. But I do remember this definitely happened.
Yeah, well, then Blasey Ford said like it was this time this year or whatever, and Kavanaugh was able to produce calendars to say like, bullshit, I have calendars to prove I was never at this party.
Right.
That this party didn't happen.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like she didn't say the year, because if she would have said it happened in 1993 or something in June, Trump could have said, oh, let's go to my calendar. I wasn't in New York then.
Right. Exactly.
And so that's why.
That's one of the reasons it's such crap that they allow this stuff in there. Yeah. Anyway, what was the
last one was just a highlight of it. It was just
a highlight.
Yeah,
all right, I want to cover some of these super chats that came in. You mind doing some reading for me?
Sure. Which one do you want me to start with? This
I
one
just
on
pull
the
up.
screen?
Yeah.
Oh, Jeremiah 1:5 says, I knew you before I formed you in the womb. Unless you claim that only applies to Jeremiah or specific special people, then the Torah does speak out the unborn.
It doesn't speak to that. Okay, so when you're talking about Jeremiah and prophets, first and foremost, I was talking about Torah. And while Torah broadly can refer to prophets, which Jeremiah is part of the 23 books of prophets that we recognize, I struggle, particularly if you're going to quote me Ezekiel or Jeremiah, I'm going to be like, I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of that. It's like, but when I refer to Torah, I'm referring to the 5 books of Moses. I'm not referring to the prophets. So as far as what's this quote here?
I knew you before I formed you in the womb.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. So I would agree if, assuming you quoted it correctly, I would agree that that's part of, he's considered a prophet. I don't know what that actually means though. So
I don't know if he's saying that God said that to him, that God knew him before he formed him in the womb, so that God, I don't know. Is that what he's?
And if it's I knew you before I formed you in the womb, that can be a reference to the soul itself while it's still in heaven before it goes into a womb. Right. So I don't know what that. I don't know what's. It's
well, that would mean then that they do recognize that the people in the womb, are once they're formed.
Well, that's my point. Is before I formed you in the womb.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? What I'm saying is that doesn't mean it's a human life. It's not, what God is saying, I knew you before you were a human life. My point is that under the 5 books of Moses, we do not look at it as being a human life. If you kill someone under Torah law, you're obligated to be killed. If you abort a baby, you are not obligated to be killed. There are damages that you have to pay, but you're not obligated to be killed because we look at it as it's not a human life. It's still sin. It's still a sin to do it, but it's not a human life. That was my point. Now, I understand that the New Testament might have a sterner view on it. And those of you who subscribe to the New Testament, if that's your belief, all right, I understand it. I get it. But psychologically and from reason, I understand the position. I'm simply saying I was giving you the Torah perspective on it.
Go with John Lennon round glasses, house glasses. They're like the little John Lennon glasses with the blue lenses.
I seriously just grabbed what was available here. I'm hopeful that another week or so I'm not going to need to have these glasses. So I don't know that I'm going to go shopping.
I don't know. I kind of like the look.
Do you?
Yeah.
Lady Logic likes that also. She likes the look too.
You need to get like several different pairs. You can switch them up. Like
I have a brown one. I have a brown pair, which is like the same, but I think this one looks better.
Get yourself a pair of those wraparound Oakleys, you can put your hat on backwards and start yelling.
That could be funny. That could be good. JH.
Yeah. Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, I've been given information that a young Joe Neerman looked up the skirt of a New York City Macy's mannequin in the sportswear department in 1989.
Lies. These are all lies. That never, ever happened. Prove me wrong. That never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Gobadan X7U with 10 euros, I believe, or 10 pounds, maybe.
We'll count it.
I don't know. He says, "What was the deal with monocles? Ridiculous things."
What is he talking about?
I think it's like a Jerry Seinfeld joke. I don't know.
I don't think it's a Jerry Seinfeld thing. I don't. And if it was, then you would say, "What's the deal with monocles?"
That's what I tried to do.
That was terrible. that was brutal. I don't know, but yeah, I was checking over in the ghetto, making sure I didn't miss anything there. I also should check over with my diggers over there. Okay, so let's do it. Monocle's ridiculous.
Did have one more come in.
Yeah, one more.
And this one is from Heisenberg. He says, "You will respect my authority."
I don't know what the people they're talking about.
This is a thing from South Park.
Oh, all right.
Respect my authority. Cartman always said that.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned Reid Hoffman earlier. This is Reid. This is who Reid Hoffman is. This is what Jim was touching on momentarily. This is the guy that paid E. Jean Carroll's legal expenses that she got caught lying about. The guy sitting next to Epstein on his island, Reid Hoffman. This was an email from Jeffrey E. to Reid Hoffman. "Okay, come to the island ranch. Let's play." Yeah, in 2015. In 2015. In 2015, 7 years after this guy had been exposed.
Maybe Jeffrey Epstein was also involved in this. Maybe some documents might come out to expose that. There he is sitting there with them. You passed over the picture.
Yeah, oh yeah, there he is.
He looks like he ate. Like look at it. It looks like he ate everything. The table's like so clean. He ate it all.
He left no crumbs. No crumbs left behind.
If this is from CF Rob, it says, "If you murder a pregnant woman, you can be charged for 2 murders." In some states, yes.
In some states, yeah. We actually recognize the humanity of an infant, of a fetus at 40 days. Like before that, that's a stage, which I understand is like, it's roughly 6 weeks, right?
But I have the questions now about this because it seems like
let's
number
do
40,
it. Let's do
number
it.
40 keeps reoccurring in Judaism because it's 40 days, 40 nights. Now it's got 40 days of the thing. They wandered for 40 years, right, in the desert.
If you look in fetal development, which
I'm talking about the number 40. Let's get into numerology here. What's up with the number 40?
I don't think it's a numerology thing. Could be. But the numerology.
Wasn't there a book of numbers?
Yes. Although the book of numbers, that's what you guys call it. Okay. That's a name that's the English translation.
Me guys. Okay. I didn't name it, but
what I'm saying is we would never call the book of numbers. Let me explain to you. Okay, first and foremost, we refer to it by its Hebrew. The 5 books of Moses by their Hebrew references. So the English references that most of you are familiar with sound very foreign to a Jewish kid who goes to yeshiva, and they're like, "What? Leviticus? What is that? What is that?" So we actually call the first book of Moses Bereshis, which technically translates as "in the beginning." You call it Genesis, which I guess there's relevance there. Okay. What you call Exodus, we call Shemos. Shemos just means names. And by the way, these names that we have for our books, it's a reference to the first section of that particular book. I'm going to do a little biblical thing here for understanding. There's 5 books of Moses. We read a weekly section. Each week we read the next section of the Torah. And we start off with the first section. There are 12 sections in Bereshis, what you call Genesis. So we'll read each week on the Sabbath. We'll read the next section, the first section, the next section, week by week. So, and then we'll work during the first 3 months of the Jewish calendar year. And the Jewish calendar year starts on Rosh Hashanah. And basically, we started right after Sukkot. but basically it'll be in late September, early October is when we start reading from Genesis, and we work for the next 3 months through Genesis, and then we'll go into what you call Exodus. But each of those 12 sections we call a parsha. We call either a parsha or a sedra, depending on on who you're talking to. And the book of Exodus is broken into 10 parshios. I think 10 or 11. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's 10. $11. So but the first parsha is called Parsha Shmos, so we call that Shmos, which means technically names. You call it Exodus because in the book, the story of in that book, the story of Exodus happens, and that that's a major thing that happens during that book. But we actually just call it names because that book starts off. It says these are the names of the offspring of Israel, and then the third book that you call Leviticus, and I have no idea what the English word Leviticus even means, but I assume it means something related to sacrifices. I don't know what I don't know what the translation. In other words, I don't know what definition of the word Leviticus
have anything
is.
to do with like Levi or anything like that? No.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I don't know. I don't know what it. Maybe. I guess so. That section there we call Vayikra, which means and he called, because the first parsha in the third book is called Vayikra. So it means, and he called. You guys decided to call it Leviticus. That section there talks all about the priestly class, and the priestly class, it comes from Aaron and all the sacrifices and all that stuff. But why you call it Leviticus, I don't know. I mean, I call it that because that's what's going to be familiar to you. If I said Vayikra, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. The fourth book.
I think you were talking about the guy running for governor of Ohio. Vayikra.
Right.
Vayikra.
Vayikra. The fourth. Yeah, it's about Vivek. Vivek, yeah. The fourth book we call Bamidbar, which means in the desert. Now, I don't know, and you guys call it Numbers. Now, that book is all about their travels in the desert. You would think of any book that is going to get an English translation, and we call Bamidbar because the first parsha is called Bamidbar, and that's because the first line in that book basically says, these are the travels of the Jews Bamidbar in the desert. So, and that's why we call it Bamidbar. I don't know why you don't call it in the desert or something desert related, considering that, Exodus is all about what happens in the book of Exodus, and Leviticus, I guess, is all about the Levi class. And you would think it'd be about the desert because that's the central theme of the fourth book, but it's not. The fifth book we call Devarim, which means these are the things or words, it depends on context, that God said. And the first parsha is called Devarim, and it just means words or things. And you call it Deuteronomy. I have no idea what that is, unless that means 10th, because Deos. I don't know what Deuteronomy means either. So yeah,
that's a fun word to say, though. Deuteronomy.
Yeah, so I know what you call them. I'm just saying, if you ask me why it is that you call it that, I have absolutely no idea. I don't know how we got started on this, but every once in a while we go into a little Bible class. We did this one? Yeah, we did this one. What is this?
From POW Angel says, Mama killing me, Dr. Knife for the dead that cannot see. You say that I not alive, but here inside is where I live and breathe. Not my choice, you did it. I don't know what that means.
I have no idea. Maybe it's the way you're reading it. I don't know what anyone's saying tonight.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
It's in quotes. It says, Mama killing me, comma, Dr. Knife for the dead that cannot see, comma. You say that I not alive, but here inside is where I live and breathe. End of quote. Not my choice, you did it. That's a quote from something.
Apparently. I'm feeling so ignorant tonight. Well, thank you, Pow Angel. What's this?
From America First, 1776. He used to be called Trumpinator. And then it says, so my question, Joe, is this: do you think God recognized the humanity of a fetus before the 40 days?
Oh, I don't know. I don't mean, I don't mean as far as God recognized the humanity. I don't know what that means. Well, what I do know is that, there's different ramifications depending on whether it's before it's 40 days or not. For example, if there's a miscarriage after 40 days under Jewish law, you have to bury it because it's like a person died. So in that sense, there is some sort of humanity that's recognized. If it's in the first 40 days after conception, there is no requirement to bury it. So that's one way that there's a distinction based on whether or not the woman was pregnant for 40 days. So that's the context in which I've heard the discussion as far as the formation of the fetus. But and when Talmud discusses why it is that there's 40 days, and I think it says that that's when it starts to take on human form, is at 40 days. Before that, it's not deemed to have human form. So no one expected I never expected we were going to go down this road tonight. I had absolutely no expectations at all. Before we move on from E. Jean Carroll, I want to alert you all to this. There is conversation as to whether or not she is actually the target of this investigation. I'm trying to find the actual thing here. I know I saw it just a moment ago. Where are you? Here it is. Here it is. So the U.S. Attorney's Office says that they're not doing it. The following is a statement by Andrew S. Boutros, United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois. Quote, in light of widespread reporting and intense media and public interest into the E. Jean Carroll matter in New York, the Chicago U.S. Attorney's Office can confirm that it has not opened and has never opened a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll. Any claim to the contrary is categorically false. That's what the U.S. Attorney's Office from the Northern District of Illinois is reporting. So they're saying, we're not going after E. Jean Carroll over here. I'll bring you back up on screen. I didn't mean to pull you off.
No problem.
You were still able to talk. I didn't throw you off. You could have talked and people would have heard you.
So they're saying that. So maybe this is like wordsmith, like lawyer speak, that we're not opening a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll. We're opening a criminal investigation into the perjury and possible other conspiracy or other people involved in this, or was a criminal act, or
that's unlikely. Frankly, I think that's unlikely that they're playing that type of game. But Julie Kelly sharing this says, so reporting that DOJ is investigating Carroll is incorrect. It does appear DOJ is investigating Reid Hoffman, perhaps for more than just funding her lawsuits, which is not alleged as some reports claim. It's a proven fact. And I'm trying to figure out, what would you be going after Reid Hoffman for? Because if you're able to invest in a lawsuit, why could he not invest in hers? Like, why would he not be allowed to do that? I don't understand why it is that what would you be going after him for? Now, maybe it's something that is only tangentially related to E. Jean Carroll. That's possible. But someone pointed back to Julie Kelly and she had to agree that this is correct, because she says, to clarify, this means the U.S. Attorney Office in Chicago is not handling any inquiry into Carroll's testimony. Doesn't mean an investigation is not underway in another office, because there has been so many reports that this investigation is happening that it's weird that, this is not the DOJ writ large making a statement. This is just one office in Chicago. But you would think, and this is something Jim pointed out to me when we were talking about this before the show, that you would wonder, why would you go after E. Jean Carroll in Chicago? The case was in the Southern District of New York. So why would you?
I think Hoffman's from Chicago area and is like.
Unless it's going after Reid Hoffman. Now, I don't know where her deposition took place. If her deposition took place in Chicago, that would explain why. That would explain why they might, say that's where she committed the perjury. So, but it's unlikely that's where the deposition took place, because usually they'll have deposition in or around or near the jurisdiction where the case is pending.
What if they thought there was evidence somewhere that the whole thing, the changing of the law with the 1 year thing, like that all of this stuff was all concocted and people were paid off and politicians got to, and it was all like a whole big conspiracy involving Democrat politicians and other people. We're going to do this and we're going to create this law. We're going to backdate it for 1 year just so we can go after Trump, because that basically was the whole thing, was about her getting that law put in place. Was E. Jean Carroll was part of that with Kaplan and all these other people.
And what Jim is referring to here is that in or around 2018, 2019, has been widely reported and admitted to by various members of the media. Kathy Griffin was at a party with E. Jean Carroll. And I don't know if Kathy Hochul herself was there or someone else was there. And E. Jean Carroll made the claim at this party that she had been assaulted by Trump. And that happened in the 90s. So they recognized, well, we have a statute of limitations problem. And that at this party, they divined the idea that you cannot go back criminally and revive a case and extend the statute of limitations. But on the civil side, that you could revoke the statute of limitations and put it aside. And what they came up with is, in order to enable E. Jean Carroll to sue, that they're going to abolish the statute of limitations for civil damages arising from sexual assault for 1 year. So anyone during that 1 year can sue for anything that ever happened to them ever in their lives. And the nature of this bill that ended up working its way through New York and being passed into law, so the complaint was, hey, this is obviously designed to target Trump, because no one's aware of a single other case that was brought that year for civil damages that were sustained, 5, 10, 20, 30 years earlier. But yeah, and it was such a blatant effort to try and target Trump that it seems like a bill of attainder, right? It seems like it's a bill of attainder in that it's a law designed to harm a particular individual, which is unconstitutional. But it wasn't deemed a bill of attainder because of the fact that technically anyone who had been damaged could have brought that suit during that year. So anyhow, and that's what Jim's referring to when he's saying that this whole thing was like a conspiracy to get Trump, because it was. I'd be curious to know what charges you would bring for that. I don't know what charges you could bring for that. It's a little bit strange. And you wouldn't need Reid Hoffman for that. You know what I'm saying? So
well, he put money up and paid people off.
Okay, and if it was that, you would think that would be in New York, that's where everything supposedly happened.
Were any of the cases brought against? Were any of the cases that were brought against Weinstein because of this 1 year thing? Were those filed then too, or? For some reason I remember someone else getting caught up in a politician, if I'm not mistaken, or someone getting caught up in a case that the statute was during this. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Like someone besides Trump, I guess.
There was someone else who got caught.
I think so, and I think there were some cases brought against the Catholic Church and stuff during this window.
Was there really?
I think so.
So there you go. That only proves the point that the left wants to make, or wants to allege, that it's not a bill of attainder. It's not individually going after Trump. It's going after all of the perpetrators. But I mean, everyone, it would be
Diddy. Wasn't the lawsuit against Diddy? Wasn't that filed under this too?
No, that was a criminal suit against Diddy. We're talking about civil suit. This is opening the statute of limitations for civil liability, not for criminal liability. You cannot revive criminal liability. Once criminal liability has passed statute of limitations, it's gone. The state can't come after you anymore.
Henry Reno, MD, says the politician who wrote the law got caught up in it. Ironically, that's what I thought. I
really.
Like that. Yeah, I thought I remember a senator or state senator or something like that got caught up in it.
That's funny. When this broke, though, that's what I'm saying. Is it's hard to imagine that there's nothing here and that there's no investigation. I mean, this was this was like well reported. The DOJ has just launched this. Reported yesterday, the DOJ has just launched a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll for perjury and deranged lawsuits against Donald Trump. Holy FAFO! So you can tell CNN is devastated. This was the CNN report, and when you listen to it, I mean, CNN was reporting on it. So this is not something that was just like some rumor on X. This is something that all of media was reporting on.
Justice Department, CNN is learning, has launched a new criminal investigation into one of Trump's enemies, E. Jean Carroll. Now, E. Jean Carroll was the former magazine.
So as I'm saying, this is not just some rumor that's circulating in social media. This is something that your legacy media, or MSM, is all reporting on.
Columnist who accused President Donald Trump of sexual assault. ended up being that he was liable for sexual abuse. The source is telling CNN that the investigation now is focused on whether Carroll committed perjury during her 2 civil lawsuits against the president. Paula Reed is breaking the story, and she's out front. And Paula, what else are you learning about this? I mean, there was obviously
this whole thing too. I just don't like the way they word this stuff, because he wasn't found guilty. You know what I mean? This thing about liable, like the way it wasn't a criminal case, so it wasn't, beyond a reasonable doubt. It was, oh well, okay. I
There was a
guess,
majority
yeah,
and
like,
preponderance
oh,
of the
well,
evidence.
But there was no evidence though. It was just her word.
Right.
There was zero evidence. It was her word, and they played, basically, if I'm not mistaken, this is where they played the tape, the grab him by the tape, and they're like, "Oh, he said it. Grab him by the, there we go. He did it. He admitted to it." And,
which has nothing to do with anything.
No.
Right. And here, Aaron, this is the latest move by the Justice Department to take action against one of President Trump's long-standing foes. Our sources tell us that this investigation is focused on a 2022 deposition that Carroll gave, where she said that
there are even reports that AG Blanche was recusing himself from this case. I think they're about to talk about that.
she had not received any outside funding. Now, her lawyers later told the judge that she had, in fact, received funding for legal fees and expenses from billionaire Reid Hoffman. The judge overseeing this case ultimately said there were no issues with her credibility and blocked Trump lawyers from asking about this at trial. Now, Carroll currently
Which is
has
beyond insane.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
multiple legal battles with Trump currently pending, including one before the Supreme Court. And notably, Aaron, the Supreme Court has deferred 12 times on a decision whether they want to take up that case. Now, over at the Justice Department, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, I am told, has recused from this case because he worked on one of the appeals related to the Carroll case. Now, I'm told he has not attended any meetings or been in any discussions about this investigation. The case is currently being handled out of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago. Now, tonight, the Justice Department issued a statement saying, quote, "We can confirm that no U.S. Attorney's Office has declined to investigate any case relating to the subject matter of CNN's inquiry. We will not comment beyond that." Now, Carroll's team tonight declined to comment. Aaron?
All right.
So if they're saying that they're recusing themselves from it, I mean, this is that's almost Blanche himself admitting that there's something going on, right? I'm very curious when they're talking about that case that was deferred 12 times.
It's this appeal. The appeal for this, the 80, like the appeal for the 83 million or whatever, for the
90 million.
Where he should have, we're for defamation, for him saying, the defamation case is the one that's been deferred.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Grok really quickly here. Grok, the E. Jean Carroll case for 83 million. That's right now seeking cert before Supreme Court.
No, not yet. The $83 million case, the one you're calling the eating cow case, is still at the appeals court stage. Trump just asked the Second Circuit to pause things so he can file a cert petition to the Supreme Court. The court gave him that delay in May, but he hasn't actually filed the petition at SCOTUS yet. The only Carroll case that's formally before the Supreme Court right now with a cert petition is the $5 million.
I was wrong.
What's the issue of law that they're trying to get before the Supreme Court in that case?
The main issues are presidential immunity and the Westfall Act. Trump's lawyers argue that the statements he made about E. Jean Carroll while he was president were official acts, so he should have absolute immunity from the defamation lawsuit. They're also pushing the Westfall Act, which could substitute the U.S. government as the defendant. And since the government can't be sued for defamation,
I think he's mixing the two cases up, because the 5 million case is the one where she sued for the actual assault that happened in the 90s. Right?
So no, what happened was and this is why it's so confusing. What happened was first there was a suit for, she got a judgment for assault. Then she was going around saying that she won on rape. Now, the finding by the jury specifically said, when she got her award, it specifically said they did not find that there was rape, but that they did find sexual assault. They were asked specifically, do you find there's rape? They check off, no. Do you find there's sexual assault? They check off, yes. So they specifically found that there was no rape. She went around saying she was raped. He basically was saying that she's lying when she's going around saying that. So she sued him for defamation for calling her a liar. And he's like, she is lying. When he went to the court, he's like, what are you talking about? She is lying. She says I raped and I didn't rape. The judge there, I think it was Judge Carroll. Kaplan, was that what it was?
No relation to the lawyer named Kaplan.
Yeah, so he basically, I think it was Lewis Kaplan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he basically said, well, people, when they refer to sexual assault, they colloquially refer to it as rape. So she was right when she said she was raped. And even though a jury said you did not rape her, she was right. And when you said that she lied, you were defaming her. Just astonishing. Astonishing. So that was the second case. There you go. So that case, it makes more sense to say the defamation should be picked up by the government, because now you're saying it's suing the president. That's for wrongs he allegedly committed as president. So perhaps he can get immunity for that, potentially. I guess that's much more likely he'll get immunity on that, or say you need to sue the United States of America, not me. And so, but that's actions he took while sitting as president, as opposed to the purported sexual assault, which happened back in the 90s, which the United States would not be on the hook for. So it makes sense that would be the case that he would be going after. He would be trying to get relief from the court on. Kimmy says, what does it say?
Deuteronomy means second law from the Greek word Deuteronomium, which reflects its content as a restatement of the laws given to the Israelites.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that term actually makes sense, because there is a lot of there's a lot of review over some of the laws. Actually, we believe that entire book of Moses was related to them during the last week of his life, and it's basically his address to the people before he died. He knew that he was dying, and he basically, and then not from illness or weakness, even though he was 120 years old. He was actually the Torah says that he was perfectly fit without any weakness at all when he died.
So but I think it's like those are would you say those are like commonly like almost referred to as a Moses law?
Well, all of it's referred to as Moses Law. The entire.
Now, do you think it's strange that my lawn care guy's name is Jesus, J-E-S-U-S, and he mows my lawn? Just saying, these things are weird, man. Like all these guys, it's got to be a simulation, man.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what we got here? I see the first word is Joe.
Joe, I know you are. I know there are different Jews, ultra-Orthodox to Reformed. My question is, do Jews believe that the Hebrew Bible as canonized is the truth? It really happened, or it's just stories?
Really happened. Every bit of it. Everywhere. Now, there are a handful of passages which are not meant to be taken literally, but those are very, very few and far between. Like you asked me, like, did they literally cross the sea? Yes. But they actually didn't go across. We understand that they actually went in like a semicircle, not going across the Red Sea. But yeah, the raining for 40 days and drowning the entire world, the whole great flood by Noah, we believe every word of it, all happened.
Was there a bunch of other stuff? Like, didn't Moses fast or like do like a fast for 40 days or something like that? Or someone did?
Yeah, he went up when he went up in the mountain and didn't have food or drink for 40 days.
Right, and then Elijah, didn't it take him 40 days to do something?
And by the way, the 40 days he went up there for 40 days, came down, saw the golden calf, goes back up for another 40 days, and basically begs God for forgiveness for 40 days, comes back down, goes up the next day, goes up for another 40 days, and gets a second set of tablets. So, yeah, but we take it very literally.
CF Rob W for $9.99 says that Genesis
Bereshit.
Mm-hmm. I would have pronounced that differently. I'm glad you corrected me because
it's actually that it's Bereshit is how it's pronounced.
I thought I was going to say there's a bear shit in the woods.
I get where you're going.
In the beginning is yes, and then Exodus is Shemot names.
Shemot.
Leviticus is
Vayikra,
and he called. Numbers is Bamidbar in the wilderness, and Deuteronomy is Devarim words.
Yep. Yeah, that is correct.
And I'm making all types of weird jokes tonight. I should probably stop.
I'm popping out the ghetto so you can see this a little bit better too.
Oh wait, you know what? I should have pulled it up. My bad. Let me get it. I could do it.
I got it here, I think.
So did you talk about the $1 ones?
I'm gonna go and try to get through them all here. So that would include Hands One Pack saying gotta update your channel icons to add shades and put a few options in locals.
Deuteronomy is the last 5 weeks of Moses' life. The book was originally called
Mishnah Torah.
Literally the restatement of the Torah.
I heard it was last week of his life, not the last 5 weeks. But he also says the names we have for the books of Torah today come from the first and second verse in each book. These books used to have more significant names. Well, that's what I was saying. That's what I was basically saying.
How come you're not using the thing I gave you? Rant stats.
Because I don't know.
That's what I was pulling up.
I don't have it. I don't have that in because I've been using Brave more and more, and I don't have it here.
So I got it in the thing, so I'll keep an eye on it.
You must know.
I have it pulled up.
All right. I want to move on. We're already an hour in, and I thought that this E. Jean Carroll story was going to take like 30 minutes. So I want to start catching up. Let's talk about his win. And I think this was a massive win, and we're going to need a lot more wins on this topic in the future.
Win. I say what?
The reason this is a shocking win is because this is one of the few district court judges who is from DC. So this is a District of Columbia district court judge who denied an application for a TRO to block Trump's EO. And it's a very, very significant EO, as you're about to see. Let's make this a little bit more viewable for everyone.
I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but from my reading of it, it seemed like it was more of it's not ripe yet.
You start with I don't want to spoil it. And then
no, I'm just saying like his ruling's not saying like it's fine. It's just like it's not.
It's a great comment. It's a great comment. 5 minutes from now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll say it later.
Just timing, Jim. Work on the timing.
You know that I read the story.
I appreciate that you've done your homework, and I really do appreciate that. Because you come up with really great. It's timing. It's just timing. No one knows what we're talking about yet.
I have the timing of Shecky Green.
That's terrible. My God, we've talked about this, Jim.
I know.
Judge declines to block Trump's order on mail-in voting. Plaintiffs cannot show that preliminary injunctive relief is warranted, the judge said. This judge is Judge Carroll Nichols. A federal judge on May 28th allowed President Donald Trump's administration to implement an executive order imposing restrictions on mail-in voting. Yes, this is that EO, which we covered here on this channel before, which basically is designed to try and weed out the mailing of ballots to non-registered people. That's the objective here. That if it's not matching as far as someone's registered, to stop the flood of ballots going out into the ether to be returned by God knows who. So he put on an EO and was directing his postmaster general as to certain steps that he should be taking, saying this is insane. Here's certain steps you need to take, and directed a course of action, and then basically for the implementation gave carte blanche to the Postmaster General as to how to effectuate his objectives with that particular EO. But the idea is to keep fraud, mail-in fraud, out of our elections. Who's the judge on this? Judge Carl Nichols of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia rejected a request from Democrats, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, for an injunction against the order. I am familiar with Judge Carl Nichols because I sat for a trial in his courtroom. He was the presiding judge who ended up finding, in a case that ended up finding Steve Bannon guilty for ignoring the subpoenas that were issued to him by Congress and sentencing him to 24 months or whatever. So, I
think you're pronouncing that name wrong.
Carl Nichols?
No, Chuck Schumer.
Oh, all right. I missed it. My bad. Absent an injunction, the federal government would compile lists of U.S. citizens. So this is step one. They're compiling lists of U.S. citizens and would coerce states into only allowing people on the lists to register to vote and vote in elections, even though the sources for the list are known to be deficient, plaintiffs argued in court filings. So we know our sources is deficient. We know it's missing people, but we're afraid that they're naming names, they're making lists.
Why is it missing people? Well, how in America with the amount of surveillance and they don't know who's citizens and who's not? How is this? How is it possible we don't have a list of all the fucking citizens? How is that possible?
All your registered citizens.
Yeah. How's it possible?
If I'm gonna just peek into the mind, I'm going to pretend that I'm a lawyer for a bunch of crazy people who are animals. I want to try and present I want to try and steel man for them.
You can just call them Democrats. You don't have to go through all that.
Yes. So if I want to try and steel man for the Democrat lawyers, they probably would say, well, what about people who register next month? They're not going to be on the list.
No, I'm saying a list of all the citizens, of every citizen. You don't need the people registered to vote. I'm saying like citizens. Even if you're a citizen, even if you're not of age, the government should know you're a citizen. You know who should have that list? It's the Social Security Office should have a list of every U.S. citizen.
What if someone becomes a citizen next month?
Then that would be later thing. But I'm saying like every citizen.
That's what they're going to claim. I'm telling you what they're going to. I'll tell you what you have to think like, when you're a lawyer is trying to litigate and trying to come up with the most creative thing, you basically end up sounding like a 10th grader arguing, but what about this? But what about that? What about this? What about that? That's what you end up doing. That's how you zealously advocate for your client in this context. It sounds juvenile, sophomoric, and probably junior. But it sounds freshman. It sounds every year of high school that you can imagine. But the bottom line is, it doesn't mean you wouldn't throw those arguments out there. Nichols disagreed, writing in a 26-page decision that although the order directs federal officials to compile the list, it does not mandate any action by a state once a list has been transmitted to it. And in any event, no infrastructure for compilation or transmission of the list has been established. So we don't yet know what's going to happen with these lists. So all right now we're doing in stage one is making lists. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we haven't even checked it twice. We haven't found out who's naughty or nice.
He doesn't say what's going to happen to the people on the list or people who are not on the list. The situation may change if the U.S. Postal Service issues a final rule affecting plaintiffs or if the government develops lists that erroneously omit certain individuals, the judge said. Quote, plaintiffs may, of course, renew their motions if and when those future actions occur, he wrote. Until then, however, plaintiffs cannot show that preliminary injunctive relief is warranted. You can't tell me you need a TRO because we don't know that anything that's happening so far, anything that's written in the TRO that you're showing me is illegal. The devil is in the details. So when you want to tell me, we have to first see what they're going to do before I can tell you that I'm going to give you relief.
Where was this judge with the birthright citizenship order? Because that would have been great because the birthright citizenship order didn't affect anybody who was alive at all.
Yeah. Okay. If you want me to be woke Joe and argue that for you.
No, I'm just saying, like this judge, the same argument should have stopped anybody from saying anything about his birthright citizenship order. There should have been no way anyone had standing to sue.
You want me to be Joe Woke and argue that for you as an attorney?
Yeah.
I'll argue that for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Is a fetus alive?
The order only applied 9 months after the date it was signed, so nobody conceived even yet it applied to.
Right. Okay. No, I understand that, but so is it alive or not?
So we're saying fetuses have rights?
You think that they can't be killed.
I'm just saying, if the left wants to say they have rights, then I guess fetuses have rights. You can't kill them. So it's like one of them catch-22s here.
Right. So they're going to, but I'm saying
this might have been Trump's plan all along.
They will raise whatever argument is working for them in that particular arena. That's what they're going to do. And so they'll say, no, it's not alive, whatever, and the mother can do whatever the hell she wants with it. And they'll also, in another setting, say, oh, you say it's alive. So the same way you'll look at them and say, well, you're saying it's dead. How can, it has no life, it has no rights.
I thought there was a rule against arguing different things in different cases, especially if you're the government, like a state government or something like that. Can't say in this case, this is, no, you can do that.
I'm just saying, so, you're basically standing in for this child who is yet to be born. So now, but you made an interesting counterpoint where you were like, well, this thing would only kick in 9 months after. So it wouldn't apply to it would only apply going forward to anyone who is yet to be conceived. That is certainly not alive at this point. Well, at this point, it wouldn't be applying going forward. It would be applying going backward, right? I mean, that's what it would do. But still, we can retroactively say, let's look at his EO as if it went into effect the day that he took office or whenever he signed that EO. And then anyone who was born more than 9 months after that would be eligible, and it only apply people who were born after that 9-month period. I'll tell you this, I'm with you. I think that he should have the power to abolish it. I don't think that they have. It's not even a matter of abolishing it. I want to be clear here. This is the thing that the left is making it as if there's a law that makes them citizens. There is no law that makes them citizens. There's no law at all that makes them citizens. They're just recognized as citizens. But there's no law that says that they have to, there's no law that says that they try to point to the 14th Amendment and they try to say, you have equal protection, but there's no law that says that they have to be citizens. They've just been recognized as citizens, and Trump is clarifying that, well, no, they're not. And we're not going to allow them to be recognized as being citizens. But it's not like there's a statute he's overturning. There's no, and the amendment itself doesn't seem to be referring to fetuses who are illegal aliens, people who are visiting this country. You have to be sovereign to this. Yeah, you have to be sovereign to the United States of America. You have to be subject to the laws of the United States of America. If you're a legal alien,
they were trying to make that argument that meant just criminal law. That's what's one of, I think it was Sotomayor or someone was trying to say just criminal law. They'd be held responsible to do something. And then I was like, well, what about the fact that we hold people in other countries liable to our criminal law? Like we just arrested Maduro and charged him with violating the NFA. So does that mean anybody that we could charge with a crime anywhere around the world could just have a U.S. citizen? So the whole world are U.S. citizens now? Because we basically will go arrest anybody anywhere if we feel like it.
Yeah.
We're emperors of the world now. They all have to do what we say. That's crazy.
Totally. So everyone's an American citizen.
I guess they're all.
The whole world's American citizen.
What they say, if everyone's an American citizen, then no one is.
Yeah. But with respect to, let's just come back to this case here with the EO on the mail-in ballots. This is something that we are going to be seeing a lot of litigation about, and we're going to hear Carroll Nichols' name a lot coming up over the next 2 to 3 months, because the timing is, we're coming into June now. The Postmaster General is going to have to start effectuating these things ASAP, and as soon as he issues a policy,
you're going to see lawsuits pop up all over the country, because as soon as they send a thing out to
they're going to go running right back to Carroll Nichols.
Oh, I was thinking they were going to go to other jurisdictions. Like if they send it to California, they're going to go to California judge. If they send it to Washington, they'll go to Washington judge.
No, I think that they'll. Those cases usually should be brought back into before the same judge, and Carroll Nichols will probably want to keep it. So he'll probably end up having jurisdiction on this. But it'll come right back to Carroll Nichols, I would expect. It could. I always wondered about that. Like, why is it you couldn't have one agency bring it in Washington, another one bring it in California? And I'm sure they do. I'm sure they try to do that. Why wouldn't you do that? But we don't seem to see that when it's a global order that it ends up having two different rulings across the country. Now, I don't know that they don't try multiple jurisdictions. You lose one place, you go to a different jurisdiction. But yeah, I could definitely see them doing this in California. I could definitely see them doing it in the Ninth Circuit. I could see them do this in New York in the Second Circuit, in Jersey in the Third Circuit.
Weren't they sued in a bunch of different jurisdictions over the birthright citizenship, EO?
Almost certainly. But then it ends up they all end up getting funneled together at some point because it's basically the same. It's the same argument. And especially when you're talking about an EO, you're looking to have consistency in the EO. It is somewhat screwed up, the idea that one EO could have different translations as to whether or not it's legal or illegal depending on what jurisdiction you're in. That sounds kind of retarded, doesn't it?
Yes.
Not that it would be the most retarded thing we've seen yet. But did I read this one yet?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we're just asking if you thought it was real.
I don't think I read Kimmy.
Kimmy Hunt says Jim is right. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you. Leviticus is Latin for of the Levites.
Oh, there you go. Of the Levites. All right. Well, that explains. Now I understand that much better. Anyway, so we should definitely be on the lookout for this case to come back because it's going to come back, and it's going to come back again and again. We got to win today, but that doesn't mean we're going to get a win next time. As soon as the Postmaster General implements laws, I think it's very likely that Carl Nicholas is going to turn on Trump and say, no, this is a problem, and we're going to see a TRO, and it'll be appealed to the Circuit Court of the District of Columbia, and at that point, we'll see what they say. Sometimes circuit courts seem to be a little bit better than district courts, and then it's going to come before SCOTUS. This is where it's ultimately heading. This is going to be a Supreme Court decision. So, and it'll be expedited too. We should expect it's going to be expedited because this is obviously something that's going to be very time sensitive. And how critical and what can be more critical, especially when we don't have the Save America Act. What could possibly be more critical than that? Speaking of this, not having a Save America Act, I should remind you that there's 740 days left in John Thune's tenure serving as a senator from the state of South Dakota. And I'll tell you right now that I think he's going to be done. I think he's going to be cooked. Not just me saying that. No. We got Scott Pressler saying the same thing, that this dude is done.
All you had to do was pass the Save America Act. All you had to do.
All you had to do, John Thune. All you had to do was pass the Save America Act, because he basically makes his announcement, which we'll see how many thousands of likes this got. Announcement: early vote action is setting up shop in South Dakota. In addition to the staff we have on the ground right now in Pennsylvania, we'll also be hitting in South Dakota. After Senator Cassidy's loss in Louisiana and Senator Cornyn's loss in Texas, Leader Thune still has the opportunity to pass the Save America Act. I'll be attending the South Dakota Republican State Convention in June. My goal is to meet with as many donors and business owners as possible to start this statewide operation in preparation for 2028. Another goal is to begin interviewing prospective field staff. I can make one promise. If the Save America Act does not go into effect before November 2026, Leader Thune will have a Texas-sized primary on his hands peacefully. If you live in South Dakota, please reach out to me. Game on. They are vetting to find a primary challenger for John Thune in South Dakota. Someone who basically can walk upright and string together 3 sentences without sounding like a bumbling idiot and believes in a MAGA agenda is basically what I think they're searching for right now, because we need to find better representation. And God knows, this is...
Are you moving on to the next story yet or no?
Just one more quick clip of Scott Pressler, where he warned him before. He warned him before. This was him on with Tim Pool.
To this person, I make a promise right here and now. If Senate Majority Leader Thune does not pass the Save America Act, then I am going to Texas. Senate Majority Leader Thune wants to protect John Cornyn in the Senate, the incumbent, and the May 26th primary Senate runoff is coming up. So everybody in Texas, you have the opportunity. If Thune isn't going to give us what we want, then we are going to take away what he has. And in Louisiana, you have Senator Cassidy, who is up for
He said this months ago.
election on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026. If he doesn't get 50% of the vote, it goes to a runoff in December. And just so this person knows, with my platform, this year I've already been to Indiana, Florida, Pennsylvania, Utah to help with redistricting. I'm going to Indiana for the Cinco de Mayo primary. I've been going to Virginia for the April 21st referendum. I hope people vote no. We have a primary in Pennsylvania on May 19th. So no, I promise you, I am using my platform, and I'm probably respectfully one of the only influencers on the ground doing the actual boots on the ground work. So you have my commitment that I'm going to continue putting in that work.
I have a question. Something just came to my mind.
Go for
when
it.
He said something about if this person doesn't get 50%, there's going to be a runoff in December.
Yeah, that's done.
No, I'm saying, but they do that in like Georgia and other places. Like they have the Senate runoffs if they don't get 50% in November. But the election day is November. That is the election day in the Constitution.
Okay. No, he's
How
not.
are they able to have elections after the date?
That
not
the
on the date?
Constitution, which you're talking about, federal versus state.
States.
No, I'm saying it's about the federal president versus.
Is it all the same for the House of Representatives and the Senate? It's the same day.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, as far as how the rules apply, whether you need to win a majority or just a plurality, that I think that they're able to decide that for themselves. That's the state picking their own senators.
I don't know. I thought I had something.
You thought you had something, and I like that you're thinking.
Anyway, before you get on to the next story, I have a very special little clip that we could play. It's very important because this is the 250th anniversary of the United States. And so Jeff Bezos, because he's a great American, all right, he decided he wants to put on the most expensive fireworks show for us.
Nice. Oh. Oh. Oh no. Were there people on that thing?
I don't think so.
Well, thank God for that.
I just thought about that. That wouldn't be a good joke if there was people on. I hope not.
Wait, Bezos is now getting into space run?
Oh yeah, he's got a Blue Origin. That's him. Yeah, he wants.
Nice.
Yeah, he wants to put servers in space too.
When did that happen?
Today. That just happened today.
I didn't see that at all. Wow. Well, God bless. I guess better luck next time. Poor Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, just actually happened at 8:59 p.m. tonight.
Look at this. Branka's here. Branka, while you're here in the audience, I'm going to give you an official invite to join me on Monday. I'll send you a text message on it, but I hope you'll be able to join me. I don't know what your schedule is or whatever. I'm officially throwing notice out to you before the world. If your schedule doesn't allow, it doesn't allow, but I'm inviting you to join me this coming Monday just to hang with me for a couple hours. So whatever the topic du jour is. What does he say here?
It says R.E., which means it's reference to E. Jean Carroll.
Thank you.
The jury should have been made to smell Trump's fingers.
Does that smell like E. Jean Carroll? Do you smell her? You smell her? That would have been that. You see, that's how you win a trial, right there. That's how you. This is a man who knows. This guy right here. That's how you win a trial. You basically like have him walking up to. Smells like soap. You think that's what she smells like? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. You're all a bunch of crazy crackpots. All right. We have so moving on from Carl Nichols. I don't want to go through the entire decision because I think that'd be a lot. I think that'd be a lot to look through to actually go through all that. I do want to talk to you all about something that Trump has come up with, which I want to get your feedback on how you feel about this. You have something else you want me to share?
Just the other Bronca thing before we go on because it's relevant. No, not this. The Bronca.
Is that the Bronca thing? Oh, there's another super chat from Bronco.
You ready? If the fingers don't sniff, you must acquit.
Nice. Nice. All right. So the Trump, not every decision that Trump makes is widely accepted. So I want to get your thoughts about this. Get your thoughts about one of his not this. One of your thoughts about his newest idea. Trump team pushes for a new $250 bill with his face on it. President Trump's meme coin may be getting fresh competition. Key administration officials are pushing the Treasury Department Bureau of Engraving and Printing to design a $250 banknote with Trump's image. Should the Treasury Department move ahead with the plan, it would mark the first time a living person's face was slapped on a greenback since 1866. The Treasury Department has confirmed it's moving to produce a $250 commemorative note with Trump's signature on it.
I think it's a good idea. I think we should have, larger bills than hundreds. Like, but there used to be $10,000 bills, used to be $1 million bills, used to be, 500s and thousands. So we should have bigger bills than just hundreds.
So you want 250? You want 250s?
Well, sure. A 250 would be fine, or go back, get 1,000, start putting thousands out again, or 10,000s or whatever. But because when I'm going somewhere and I need to bring money with me, it's a pain to have all these hundreds.
Right. No, it's a nuisance. It gets so thick in your wallet when you just carrying hundreds.
It hurts your back and everything.
Like, oh my gosh, it would be much easier if you're able to just carry 250s. Yeah. The 250 note would be a nod to America's 250th birthday this year. Quote, in response to active legislation sponsored by Representative Joe Wilson, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing is conducting appropriate planning and due diligence, a Treasury spokeswoman told the Post. Should this legislation mandate be signed into law, the BEP is moving proactively to produce a $250 commemorative note, which will appropriately recognize the 250th anniversary of our great nation. The Washington Post first reported the plans for a $250 bill. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent insisted that there was nothing untoward about the department's work, stressing that it was simply getting prepared in case Congress decides to request Trump's face be put on a $250 bill. Quote, you have to prepare in advance. Can't draw something up the day before, Bessent told reporters Thursday. I don't think there's anything untoward about having the person who's the President of the United States as the 250th anniversary bill. Under the Thayer Amendment, which passed in 1866, it's illegal to put the likeness of a living person on you officially with currency, bonds, or other financial notes. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is one of these things where it's like, put somebody else's face on it. You know what I mean? Like, just do it, but put somebody else's face on it. It doesn't have to be your face. Your signature could be on it, but not your face. You know what I mean? Like, he could be signed as president, whatever, but I don't know. There's got to be something like maybe John Adams. John Adams isn't on any bill, right? Not the second president.
He was on the $2 bill.
Was he?
Oh, wait, was that Jefferson?
I thought Lincoln was on a $2 bill.
No, what? Lincoln's a $5 bill.
Isn't he? I thought he was also on. No, Tom. No, that was Jefferson was on it too. I think you're right.
Yeah, it was Jefferson.
No, Jefferson's on the 20.
Oh,
no, it's Jackson. That's
Jackson on the 20. Yeah.
Grant's on the 50 and Benjamin Franklin's on 100. That's what I say, bringing them Benjamins, baby. But you could put John Adams. I don't think he was ever on a bill. Maybe he was on a higher one. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like the $10,000 bill. Maybe Adams was on the 500 or the 1,000. But what wasn't the $10,000 bill was actually like the Treasury Secretary or something like that at the time was on a $10,000 bill.
So I want to ask you, assuming they managed to get past this, the U.S. Treasury Brandon Beach and his top advisor were Mike Brown pushed for the development of a new banknote, with Beach giving staff mock-up designs in August, September last year, according to the reports. The mock-ups featured Trump's face in the middle of the 250 note, as well as the president and Bessent's signatures. During the so they basically learned that there are legal hurdles. Quote, she had told them, we're not authorized to do this. We can't progress any further. And all the stakeholders have not even met to discuss the next steps, the source told the outlet. Currency, which takes 6 to 8 years to produce a new bill, particularly one of such high value. So my question to you is, do you have thoughts about the idea of Trump being on a 250?
Well, I think it's a violation of the law. Clearly, it says you can't have a living person on money. On paper money that say passed in 1866. I mean, I don't care. I'd be fine with it, but I'm saying if you really wanted to get it done, you'd just put somebody else's picture on it.
Yeah, I think that
that's fine. I love Trump, and I'd
even
love
if
to
it
have
was
Bill's
even if it wasn't a law, I think it's gauche. I think it's
like see, that's the thing. Like, why Adams? Put Adams on it. He was around. He was there at the revolution. He was there. He signed the Declaration of Independence. Put Adams on it.
I think
the second president. He isn't on anything else.
Yeah, Adams would be an okay choice. I'm not. Adams is okay. He pushed very hard for the Declaration of Independence to be drafted. So I would give the nod more. I happen to be a bigger fan of Jefferson than I am of Adams, but I can understand putting Adams on the note.
Well, it's weird too that George Washington's on the dollar bill, a single, because he was the first president, and then Jefferson, who was the third president, is on a $2 bill. It's kind of weird.
Is it Jefferson? Did you confirm that?
Yeah, I confirmed it.
Yeah.
They just basically nobody likes Adams. Probably they're still mad at him because he represented those British soldiers in the Boston Massacre.
That's not the issue. He's all about federal government, Adams. He was very into the power of the federal government. That's where he clashed with Jefferson, who was more of a states' rights guy. But yeah, I think defending the British in the Boston Massacre was actually pretty based, and the fact that he was able to win on their behalf was a show of his acumen as an attorney. But he's not a bad choice. But fixating for a moment on the idea of Trump putting himself on money. First of all, the memes write themselves. I mean, it's basically inviting. He was trolled by Hillary Clinton today. Did you see how he was trolled by Hillary Clinton for this?
Yeah.
And if you're giving Hillary Clinton good trolling material, that's a sign we're going the wrong way here. It's a sign we're going the wrong way. She basically put out, I don't have the tweet here, but she put out a tweet as something to the effect of, well, it's fitting for him to be on a $250 bill because by the time he leaves office, that'll be the price of a loaf of bread and a basket of eggs. So a carton of eggs. So he walks right into it. You know, it's not a good look. I mean, seriously, when's the last time Hillary Clinton was able to come up with a good joke? And that was a pretty good sting. So yeah, it seems like it's really playing into the worst of the Trump excesses. So I don't think it's going to happen. But even talking about it is the whole thing's a bad look. So I wish they would just deny it and say, no, that was just a joke. We were never actually going to do it. Never going to do it. You'd buy that for $1. I'd buy it for $1 too. Who wouldn't buy it for $1? JH saying, Joe. Are you going to read to me?
Okay, I'm sorry. JH Swalback says, Joey. Isn't it funny how the Democrats were looking for a manly man to save the reputation, and the Republican Party has Scott Presler, the most gay, not gay superhero the Republicans could have?
It's true. It's funny because
they have this manly man who's probably closeted named Talafrico.
Talamico. Yeah.
NY Renal MD, whatever is that? New York renal doctor. Oh, so maybe it's just like dialysis stuff, renal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Trump's effect won't be fully appreciated until 20 to 30 years from now. He should realize that.
Yeah, that's true. We're going to look back at this as like
if they really wanted to do the 250 thing, what they should do is they should have went to the Democrats and say, let's get a series of say 10 bills with different people's faces on them. You guys pick 5, we'll pick 5. Presidents or something that you want to put on.
I can get behind. I think it's a nice idea to have a 250, but yeah, just stick with dead people.
Well, I'm saying, but that's what I say. Go to the Democrats and say, you pick. We'll make it that way people can collect them. You know what I mean? And that way they get the money out of circulation. Think ahead here. Get the money and get it out of circulation. People want to keep them as like a keepsake because people are going to keep them anyway. But if you got to get them more, just one. You want a collection, so you get like 10 different faces on them. That way you got to have 10.
Ooh.
You understand what I'm saying?
Look at you in the marketing. Look at you.
You get like the Democrats pick 5 people on them. I don't know how they would get Obama, different pictures of Obama on all 5, but they'd figure it out. And, then you put who you want on yours. Get Reagan on one, Nixon on one.
I would say they have to be dead. Let's just stick with dead people. They would they already put FDR on the dime. So, who do you think they would choose if you had to pick 5 and 5, right?
First, they have to be dead,
and they have to be dead. So Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, sure.
The Democrats. Well, let's go one Democrat, one Republican. Okay.
Okay.
So let's assume if we had 10, this is a fun exercise. So 10
Ronald
people.
Reagan, obviously.
We're
they
not,
wanna
yeah.
put Reagan
Ronald,
in
that
one.
was the first one I was going to name for Republican. So you basically have Martin Luther King, Ronald Reagan, JFK.
Yeah, and then for probably Nixon.
Really? You think?
Nixon was framed, but we don't want to get into all that.
I know, I understand, but it's Nixon is
Eisenhower. Then Eisenhower. I don't know.
That's the
Eisenhower
best we
won
can
World War
do?
II. I don't know. Oh, okay, Teddy Roosevelt.
That one I like better. I like Teddy Roosevelt. I like that idea. That's 2 and 2. Who else we got?
Jimmy Carter.
It's
For the
pathetic.
Democrats. I'm just saying.
It's
He's
pathetic.
dead and he's a president.
It's pathetic. but you're probably right. You're probably right. They would probably put Jimmy Carter up there.
The Democrats would probably want to put George Floyd on one.
Well, let's stick with people who had like. Let's assume that they put in. It's got to be people who had like
Jesse Jackson.
accomplishments. You think they go Jesse Jackson?
He's just died, and he's got around. It's like it's real close to the
They
thing.
might go to Jesse Jackson. That would be totally the sort of thing they would do. They would probably go with some stupid gay rights activist you and I never heard of, like Harvey Milk. Yeah, they would probably do that. They'd be like, give us Harvey Milk. Oh God. I'd be like, no, forget it. Screw it. The whole plan's abolished. We're not doing Harvey Milk. I'm not doing no freaking Harvey Milk. No.
I know who. Some people would say like, oh, Charlie Kirk. The Republicans put Charlie Kirk on there, but he was never a president, and he was never.
Yeah, I think it's hard to do Charlie Kirk. Although you would say if we're giving you MLK, you got to give us Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good way to counter. You want MLK? He wasn't elected to anything, so give us Charlie Kirk.
And I think next to Dems would probably pick like either Ruth Bader Ginsburg or maybe.
They would totally go RBG. They would totally go RBG. 100%, no question. She would have been up there before Harvey Milk. Yeah, for sure they would go with RBG. And I would take having Harvey Milk on there to get Charlie Kirk on there. I think that would be really awesome to have Charlie Kirk on there.
If they go RBG, then Republicans would go Scalia.
Okay. Scalia is a little bit of a push.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if RBG, you're gonna, if they're gonna go. I mean, it's something they would all work out. You guys pick one figure, like a civil rights figure that you want on the left. We'll pick one on the right. You pick a president. We'll pick a president. You pick a Supreme Court justice. We'll pick a Supreme Court justice. They'd have some kind of list and something like that. God, I should be running shit.
You should. You totally should. So wait, who else? So now just to review so far, okay? So we basically said, all right. So MLK bounces off with Charlie Kirk, and then we had JFK bouncing off with Reagan.
Yeah.
And who was the first one that we mentioned for them? MLK. So that was MLK. MLK and JFK says Reagan and Charlie Kirk. So then you would go. You want RBG
and Scalia maybe. Is there another? I mean,
Yes.
I would want Thomas. I would want Thomas on there.
Yeah,
But
Thomas.
he's not dead. So
Thomas is the greatest justice ever. He's the greatest Supreme Court justice ever. I don't think it's even close.
I don't think anyone would want Harry Truman on any of them.
Nah. But so wait, who else did we have so far?
We said something about Carter, but
I mean, I guess Carter. You offset with Teddy.
Maybe,
Teddy
yeah,
Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
So now we need a fifth one of each. Are they throwing anyone out there? Is Thomas Sowell still alive?
Thomas Sowell is still alive. Yes, he's not dead. Well, I mean George H.W. Bush, but he's not. I wouldn't want him on anything.
Ugh. God, why? Why? Patton.
Oh yeah, Patton, and then they could go with Patton would be good. Definitely. Maybe they would go like a famous war hero, Patton, and then they could go with MacArthur. Maybe Patton MacArthur, and then
Yeah, I think that's the way you do it. I think we got it. All right. Good. I feel as if we just accomplished something. I feel as if we just made America a better place. So good on us. Good job overall. All right. Wanted to share this with you also. I don't know if you saw that guy who basically was threatening ICE agents, which only goes to prove just how badly you need
the guy
to.
That was saying, "I'm going to kill you, your family, and all this other stuff." That guy, yeah. Why?
Yeah.
He should have been. I was very upset. I'm going to tell you right now. I was so upset this weekend, Joe. I know you were busy and stuff, but this Sunday, Monday, and
what happened?
All the stuff they were rioting and doing all this shit, and Mark Wayne Mullen was fucked off doing whatever, and nothing happening, and it went on until finally Tuesday. It seemed like that someone must have got him on the phone and said, "Hey, jackass, you can't let this shit go on in New Jersey."
It's like 10 miles from me. I feel negligent in that I haven't gone down there yet. So I can go there right now. You think there's stuff happening right now?
Joe, I wouldn't go if I was you. I'm just being honest. I wouldn't go.
Why?
Because you'll get assaulted.
I could change the hat.
Yeah, but they don't like the other hat you wear either.
I have many hats. I'm a man of many hats. I wear many hats. What is that supposed to mean?
They don't like any of those hats.
They don't like any hats. Joe, you don't own any hats they like. I can wear like my wife's beret or something like that, you know? Something like that. They'll think I'm some sort of chic New Yorker or something. I don't know. Well, anyhow, these are points. These are definitely points to ponder. But yeah, so anyway, down in Newark, I really should get down there. We'll see. Maybe next week if it's still going on. This is Nick Sorter reporting that he said this is exactly why ICE agents are forced to wear masks. ICE Newark rioter, I have your face, mother effer. Your whole effing family is dead. Your kids, your wife, all dead. This is just outrageous.
Kill your whole fucking family! Your whole fucking family is dead! Come on! Your children, your wife, all dead! Put it! My boy! I have your face, motherfucker! You're dead! Dead!
Why that guy look Islamic to me? With his, I don't know, the beard just says Aloha snack bar.
Well, I got good news for you.
They did arrest him?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
But this is Todd Blanche talking about that very dude.
This is one. Okay, let's talk about what you can and cannot tolerate. This is video from last night. This is one of those rioters and him shouting death threats at ICE officers. Watch.
Your whole family! Your whole family is dead! Come on! Children, your wife, all dead! Put it! My boy, I have your...
We have your face. We have your face, buddy boy. We have your face.
Face, mother... You're dead! Dead!
You're dead. Your children, your wife, your whole family. I'll kill them all. And then ironically says, I have your face. We all have his face.
Yeah, so do we. And look, that's a federal crime. And not only threatening the ICE officer, but think about how disgusting this individual is, threatening his family and his children with death. What is this man doing? He's just doing his job standing there. And so this again, that is disgusting, that what you just showed, and we see his face. And I promise you, we will find him. And when we find him, we will arrest him, because it is a crime not only to threaten law enforcement, but not surprisingly to threaten their family as well.
Oh.
So there you go. There you go. So you can at least rest
if I don't
assured.
see a report, Joe, of a door getting kicked down at 5 a.m. by a SWAT team going into that guy's house, then it's not fair yet. We're not equal.
Okay. I'll ask you this. How long from now do you think is reasonable? Like, seriously, like reasonable? Like
to get the guy?
To get this guy.
72 hours.
Okay. 72 hours. So you're saying
you got to go get a warrant. You know,
Friday,
get the warrant.
Saturday, Sunday. So you're basically saying by Sunday night, midnight.
I'll give them to 6
Monday.
a.m. Monday morning.
So by 6 a.m. Monday morning, they should have this guy arrested. I think they will.
Okay.
I think they will.
So.
I think they will. And I think you gave a reasonable time. I think giving them 3 days.
Because they should already know his name. If they don't know his name, then all this Palantir and shit we have don't work.
Yeah. No, I agree. They should be. This guy needs to be taken down. And it's nice to see, that we have a DOJ that says, yeah, they're not trying to make excuses. He's like, no, this guy, we're going to get him. So the hunt for this guy is on, and rightfully so, because dude's a sicko. He's a sick lunatic. I had more that came in here, right? There was more that came in here.
There's more. I saw more. Yeah, there's more chats that came in.
Where am I at? I think we did this one, right? I think this is the one.
Oh wait, no, I didn't. No, go back. Hold on. Go back.
Did we didn't do this one?
Yeah, we did this one. I'm sorry. Trump's effect 20, 30 years from now. Yes. This is from POW Angel or Pow Angel.
Pow Angel.
Pow Angel. You call me Prince Charming. Can't speak a word when you're full of blues. You'll be all right come tomorrow, but tomorrow might not be here for you. Ronnie Van Zant.
Nice. Well done. There you go. Pow Angel coming on in here.
This is from the Bronca show. A good guy by the name of Andrew Bronca. It says, I'll buy a full stack of the 250s if the Trump picture is his mugshot.
That would be awesome.
That
would be so awesome. That's what they should do. That's what they should do. Best picture ever.
Got a whole bunch of comic books.
Best picture ever.
Trump's mugshot picture on him.
Nice. So based.
Amazing Disgrace 9/11 for 5 says it would be fun to pay for the dinner tab at a liberal establishment with a Trump bill.
Because they'd want to rip it up, but they never would. They'd want so badly to set it on fire. But they're like, it's $250. I can't do it. That's the reason I can't wait till we have a Trump bill. Oh my gosh, please, eventually. You can't do it with him in office, but oh my God, one day, shortly after his passing, hopefully by then the world will appreciate him more. We'll commemorate him with a bill.
Q Thulu says, if anyone living has to go on the 250, it has to be Clarence Thomas.
Totally could not agree more. I was thinking yesterday when I was reading his concurrence that it's not even close. Just how sharp his mind is and how insightful he is. Everything. It's not even close. There's no one close. That guy's amazing.
They really got to fix that goal. It's showing zero on the goal on YouTube.
I'm sure
I think we're there or close to it. I don't want to.
I'll do a count after we finish up these chats. So,
Benjamin Franklin. He deserves the credit.
He deserves. Is that the guy from Sesame Street?
No, Benjamin Franklin, the guy who discovered electricity. The guy's on a $100 bill, or is it Benjamin Franklin?
Yes, Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, okay. I think you're right. I think it's the black guy in Sesame.
It's the black guy in Sesame Street. Yeah.
The other Gagax. That's his name, Dan. He says we need Reagan on the 250.
All right.
And it says, Jim, check DMs. Pressler isn't the only base gay Republican. Okay.
No, there's Brandon Straka.
Okay, yeah.
He's pretty good. Right?
Besant. Scott Besant. Yeah, Scott Besant's also pretty based, yes. The Treasury Secretary.
I know who he is. I'm like, there's a lot of people I'd put before Scott Besant. There's a bunch of people I'd put before Scott Besant. But I think Scott Besant. Okay, can I make a confession here?
Yeah.
There's something, and I love all the work Scott Besant has done. Okay, I'm just talking purely from an aesthetic perspective here. Okay, from aesthetic perspective. From an aesthetic perspective, there's something a little strange to me about that guy's face. I can't explain what it is. I'm only bringing it up because we're talking about putting his face on something. It's just something, I don't know. He's got like this wood chip. He's got this chipmunk type of smile that he gets, I'm just like, I don't feel comfortable with Scott Bessent. I don't know why. I can't knock anything he's done in the role. He's been great as an appointment so far. I'm simply saying, if I had to go after Scott Bessent, if he hadn't been as awesome, I would have brought up his face a lot more, like a lot more. I can't be the only one who actually thinks this. Yeah, you have to sort of. You've never seen it, Jim?
What?
Scott Bessent's face.
I've seen it. I don't know. Just something.
You don't see what I'm talking about?
What? He looks like he's wearing makeup sometimes.
It looks like he's wearing makeup. He gets this weird sort of smile. He always looks like he's a little bit awkward. I'm just saying from an aesthetic type of thing, he doesn't come across as your classic, like, this is your balls hanging low MAGA dude. Do you see what I'm saying? I can't look. I don't know. You're tuning out here. Whatever. I'm talking to you now.
I'm not tuning out. I'm still looking at other stuff. I'm trying to find other stuff for you.
I don't need you to find stuff. We're good. We're good. We have enough stuff. Don't worry. I'm like, we're ready. We've got like 5 minutes left in this show, and I've got 4 more stories I haven't even touched on. So I'm just here with you. And when I said you, I was actually talking to the audience. I cannot be the only one who thinks this. Like, I mean, just being like, fair and reasonable and truly honest. I'm not saying to make fun of him. I'm not saying to mock him, but don't tell me I can't be the only one who looked at him and was like, this is where I need the audience to be able to see my eyes, because with sunglasses, the mouth expressions are not nearly enough.
We're not asking you to date him, Joe. We're just asking you to listen to his monetary policy. That's all.
True. And like I said, I've been very impressed with his work. I'm just saying, if he ever turns on us, I got like a whole catalog of a library that I'm good to go with on him. A whole catalog. Like I'm good to go.
I mean, after seeing what that clown, what's her name now, Ashley St. Clair's going around saying now.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. She's the one who wanted Rocket Babies.
Yeah, she's the one who wanted Rocket Babies. She was like all the flavor on the, she's MAGA, blah, blah, blah. Now she was never MAGA. She was never America First. She was never nothing. She's a fucking.
All right, I'll tell you right now, okay? I have yet to see a female influencer who I'm like, oh, this one is one I'm confident that I will, forever think this one is a solid MAGA. I don't know
why. I just think they're all
I don't understand why it is. I don't know why it is. I've never met one. And I know this sounds like
even Ann Coulter turned. Like,
she's terrible. She's terrible. She's a neocon tea bag or tea party. She's terrible. She's awful. No. Seriously, none of them. I just like, I don't know why. I don't think it's like impossible.
What about Roseanne Barr?
She's the closest thing. She's the one I have probably more confidence in what she's going to come out of her mouth than virtually any other woman. That was a good call by you. That was a really good call. I don't know why it is. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm sure the women in our audience here would agree. But one by one, they're all just like a disappointment. It's almost as if like we find like someone who's pretty and has half a brain and says, go Trump. And we're just like, yeah, that's our girl, and it's like, but then they end up basically saying, well, I'm not so sure we should all have guns. And you're just like, what the hell's wrong with you? Maybe Trump is not such a good guy. It's like, oh my God, just go away. Like that's what ends up happening every time. So I don't know. I don't know why it is, but it definitely seems to be a thing. Did we cover this?
Jim check. If they have to, J.H. Swalback for 2 says, if they have to be deceased, does Biden qualify? This is Andrew Branca from the Branca Show for 5 says, when you and Jim lean into each other like that and gaze longingly into the other's eyes and take long hot showers into the wee hours of the morning, it reaffirms my belief in love.
It really didn't seem like he wrote all that.
Oh, it does. It was real long. He wrote real small. J.H. Swalbach, Thurgood Marshall for the Dems and Frederick Douglass for the Republicans. That wouldn't be a bad idea, actually. I totally forgot about Frederick Douglass.
That's not bad. That's pretty good. I like Frederick Douglass more than I like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Daniel Webster.
That's not bad. Cassius Clay.
Which one?
Cassius Clay.
Cassius Clay?
Yeah. Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay.
No, I know that would be one that actually I think both sides would probably agree with on Cassius Clay.
This is Israel. Hey,
Yeah.
Joe, I love the show. Hey, Joe, I love the show. Just released a new musical instrument for PC and Mac. It's called Guitarocracy. Music theory on guitar. If you or your audience is making music, check out Guitarocracy.
Check it out. Check out Guitarocracy. There you go.
AK says, go from Heisenberg.
I'm about to count that up. Well, to confirm that.
Besson seems uncomfortable in his own skin from Kimmy Hunt.
Thank you. Thank you. I knew I couldn't be the only one who thinks that.
Now, do you think that's just because he always has a butt plug in?
I don't know. I'm just saying he always I get like a little bit of a creepy vibe around him. I'm so glad that someone else, like, I was like, why is it I'm the only one? Look, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to call it like I see it. The reason I like Trump is not because like he pay me off or because like whatever, because he's Republican. It's that he says things that I like. When he tells you things that I don't like, I'm like, I don't like the 250 thing. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's a good look for him. I don't want it. We got to stop with this. And I can tell you, I love what this guy says, and I don't like what he says other times. I'm going to give it to you straight. And I'm sorry, Scott Besson gives off a creepy vibe. I love what he says, but he gives me a very creepy vibe. He does. You can't pretend that if some leftist said some leftist said gun to your head, you think if you saw Scott Besson and he wasn't Scott Besson, would you think he was creepy? You'd be like, yeah, probably would.
I wouldn't want to be around him.
Yeah. So I'm just being honest. I'm just, I'm not gonna be harping on it, but like I need to have someone to just say, no, you're not crazy, Joe.
Was there more super chats or?
I think I got them all. Let me count up what we got.
4
here.
Rumble rants too.
4 Rumble rants.
I'm gonna pull up my screen.
Yeah, let's do that.
It says from Mizadali, whatever. Devarim, Deuteronomy is the last 5 weeks of Joe. The opening of Paras Davram states that it was the first day of the 11th month. The book covers the Rosh Hadash Shivas to the 7th of Adar. I probably mispronounced a whole bunch of stuff in there.
No, you said that what he's saying it goes from Rosh Chodesh to the 7th of Adar. Maybe he's correct. Moses dies in the Jewish month of Adar.
Oh, this is your buddy. That's who that is.
I don't know who this guy is. I never met him before.
I think that's your neighbor guy.
No, it's not.
Not him? You sure?
No, I'm positive.
Miss Adoli? No?
No. It's Shai Eisenman is and he's on YouTube usually. Is the one who I know. But it could be the last 5. Sorry, I meant I know. I didn't mean to do that. It could be that. I think that it could be. It was 5 weeks. He does die on the 7th day of Adar. So if it started on Rosh Chodesh, that would be the Rosh Chodesh means the first day of the month prior is what he's talking about.
I was confused. That looks like his profile picture.
It doesn't look anything like him.
Okay, I'm confused. Anyway, so Hansel PK says this is what the rulemaking and public comment is for, to find out about no proposed rule, no need for a TRO. So I think he's talking about that thing that we said. And then Hansel also says that need first black man on bill. Let's go with Justice Thomas. And then auto pen on the $2 bill since they're both clear.
I like that one. I like the auto pen on the $2 bill. On a $3 bill. That's what it should be on.
And for 20, it says Wellesley 72 says, with your eye condition, I don't think you can see it. So your call might be off.
Oh, you're saying my call on Scott Besson. Could be. All right, so let me count them up. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, yeah. Cool. Well done. Well done, you fine people. It's a good thing, because I was starting to think that this Saturday night goal was not working. So good on each and every one of you. I called you out by name, but I can't see a single person who did it. So, but thank you. You guys are amazing. And God willing, I'll see you. Well, I don't know what I'm going to see, but you'll see me on Saturday night. So yes, as we managed to hit our goal. There's one other story at the very least that I wanted to cover before I let you go. I actually had a bunch more that I had here. And that is Trump refiling his lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal. This was supposed to be my title, but my title ran out of space. So Trump has, and I want to have a conversation with you about this topic in general. Okay. So Trump is refiling his lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal.
Pull that down. Got to pull my, yeah.
I know. Trump refiles the $12.79 billion defamation suit against Wall Street Journal over report on Epstein ties. New York U.S. President Donald Trump on May 27th refiled a defamation lawsuit seeking at least $10 billion. How he comes up with 12.79, I don't even know. In damages against the Wall Street Journal over its reporting on his ties to Jeffrey Epstein after a judge threw out an earlier version over legal deficiencies. The lawsuit is one of several Mr. Trump has brought in his personal capacity against news organizations, part of what critics say is a wider pressure campaign against the media. Mr. Trump's lawsuit said the Rupert Murdoch-owned newspaper tarnished his reputation with an article describing a birthday card to deceased sex offender Jeffrey Epstein as bearing Mr. Trump's signature.
A lot of people don't realize the Rupert Murdoch has always hated Trump.
Yeah, I don't think
they've dealt with it. They've always not got along. They completely tried to sink him in 2015, 2016, running stories and doing stuff. And it's always been an ongoing back, like a weird thing. Like some of the people on the network like Trump, but Murdoch always hated Trump.
Well, Mr. Trump and his lawyers said the card is fake. Even after it was released by lawmakers investigating Epstein's case, Mr. Trump is seeking at least $10 billion in damages. According to the amended lawsuit, he had sought the same amount previously. At the time of the publication, defendants recklessly disregarded whether defamatory statements were true and or they purposely avoided the discovery of the truth, lawyers for Mr. Trump wrote in the amended complaint. The lawsuit filed in Miami federal court names Rupert Murdoch, Dow Jones, News Corp, and CEO Robert Thompson, along with two Wall Street Journal reporters, Ms. Khadija Safdar and Mr. Joseph Palazzolo.
Wasn't that birthday card supposedly for Epstein's 50th birthday?
I think it may have been. I don't know if it was specific.
Because I think that would prove that it's a lie, because that was after he was kicked out of Mar-a-Lago.
When was his 50th birthday?
Well, he was born in 53, so that would put it at 2003. So that would mean that, and he was kicked out in 99.
Saying they defame Mr. Trump and cause him to suffer overwhelming financial and reputational harm. We're going to look at the birthday card in just a moment. Dow Jones has said it has full confidence in the rigor and accuracy of the Journal's reporting and will vigorously defend the lawsuits. Epstein, a disgraced financier and sex offender, died in New York Cell. Okay, whatever. We don't care about all this stuff. You know who Jeffrey Epstein is. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So let's look at the birthday card. I'll pull it up here. Oh, come on. Where is the... it's taking a long time for this to load. I can probably find that on X faster than this thing will load. So I'm going to do a quick search. Okay. Save this image. This is the birthday card. This is what the birthday message that allegedly came from Donald Trump. We can read it together, okay? This is, ask yourself if you really believe that Donald Trump wrote these words in this birthday card. So you can see it has the overall image of being a woman. I think that's what it's supposed to look like. I only just noticed now that creatively the signature is supposed to look like, you know, the legs, I guess, of the woman. I don't know, whatever. But
I think it's supposed to look like a pubis.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yes. Like if you
oh,
squint.
Maybe. I don't know. You want so you'll read the Jeffrey Epstein parts, okay?
Why do I have to read the Jeffrey Epstein parts?
You want to read the Donald Trump parts?
Sure.
This is to fulfill all of Andrew Branca's fantasies right here. The two of us reading this card. There must be more to life than having everything.
Yes, there is. but I won't tell you what it is.
Nor will I, since I also know what it is.
We have certain things in common, Jeffrey.
Yes, we do, come to think of it.
Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that?
As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you.
A pal is a very wonderful thing. Happy birthday. And may every day be another wonderful secret.
Donald J. Trump. Yeah, so apparently whoever crafted this for Donald Trump never heard Donald Trump. never listened to like 5 minutes of Donald Trump speaking. Can you ever imagine him coining the phrase enigmas never age? Like that's words that would come, those 3 words would ever come out in one sequence for Donald Trump. I think he probably knows what the word enigma means, but that he would poetically, like all of a sudden he turns into Shakespeare when he's writing a birthday card or some wannabe Shakespeare, because it's kind of bad poetry, but it's like that he's basically framing this whole poem, making this picture of a woman, I guess trying to make this into being the pubes, whatever it is. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. This is, did you ever think of Donald Trump writing artistic prose? That he's writing a made-up conversation between him and Jeffrey Epstein. And then when he's writing this prose, this artistic prose, he comes up with a pal is a wonderful thing and every day be another wonderful secret. It's like, I don't even, this is the same guy who's like, Abu, Naga, Sagaraka. We got him. We blew him up. We blew him to high heaven because they stink. But when he's writing birthday cards, he writes, enigmas never age. Please, please. This is written by somebody whose balls have not yet descended. This is written by somebody who's basically, whoever wrote these 3 words was enigmas never age, was either a woman or some dude smoking sausages. And I mean that in the most figurative way possible, because I've never met a straight dude who would write enigmas never age. No, that's not no, there's no way in hell Donald Trump ever coined the phrase enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? What the hell does that even mean? I don't understand what the hell this is. Absolutely, you have to be an idiot. I don't think anyone actually thinks he wrote this. That's my theory. I don't think anyone on the left actually believes he wrote this. I think that it was put out there basically to troll MAGA, that we have to sit here defending this idiocy. That's the only explanation I have, because there's no one who would possibly think, yes, this is what he writes.
I believe Trump wrote this just as much as I believe that Bill Clinton put on that blue dress and sat for the portrait to be created of Bill Clinton.
Yeah. So none of this makes any sense. I am curious whether it's the 50th birthday. I want to check that out. So I'm gonna ask Grok that, because I am curious.
Yeah, it was like really early 2000s when he was kicked out of Mar-a-Lago, like 2001.
Yeah. Grok, I need to ask you about the birthday card that Donald Trump allegedly sent to Jeffrey Epstein.
I haven't seen any verified birthday card from Trump to Epstein. There was an alleged card that circulated online a couple years ago, but it was quickly debunked. It was a hoax or photoshopped image. No credible reporting has ever confirmed it exists. If you're seeing a specific version of this card, feel free to describe it and I'll take a look.
I'm talking about the one with the silhouette of a woman and the weird conversation.
Yeah, that's the one. It's from Epstein's 2003 50th birthday book, compiled by Ghislaine Maxwell. The page has a hand-drawn outline of a naked woman's body with typewritten text inside it, styled like a weird scripted conversation between Trump and Epstein. The text goes like, "There must be more to life than having everything." Then it has back and forth lines like, "Donald, we have certain things in common, Jeffrey," and ends with, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret."
I'm just going to go on record as saying that Grok did a better imitation of Jeffrey Epstein than you did.
You did Jeffrey Epstein. I did.
I'm sorry, of Donald Trump. than you did. But yeah, but my Donald Trump is not any better. So
Well, we can't all be Sean Farish.
We cannot all be Sean Farish. That's true. That's definitely true.
Joe. Scott Bessent, you've never seen him in full makeup and heels. He's a femme that can balance a checkbook. Joe, I know you're a tushy man, but Bessent's got it. A badonkadonk. Ha ha ha.
A what?
A badonkadonk.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh. This is from Ben Sass's cousin.
Ben! How are you, my brother? I
since
want you. I'm going to go on record and tell you this. I've been tweeting a lot about Massey lately, and every time, right before I hit send, in my head, you should know this. Whenever you see a Massey tweet from me, that before I sent it out there, I'm always thinking to myself, I wonder if this is the last button I can push with John before he says, "F it, I'm done with Joe." I'm like, I hope it isn't. I hope I didn't push that line too far. I have to get this off my chest. Every time I tweet out about Massey, that's what I actually think of you, and I'm like, all right, but I have to say it. I hope it doesn't do it, but yeah. What do we got? What do we got from Ben?
Because since you were talking Torah earlier, how did Balaam know who God was and know him well enough to listen to him, but couldn't guess from the get-go that cursing Israel was a non-starter?
This is a great question. This is a great question. Do you know who Bill? You never heard of Bill, did you? Yeah.
I have another question that's about a coincidence, and I don't want it to go, but it's just really quick, so it'll only take a second.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a coincidence that Torah is the book, what you call
the 5 books.
The 5 books, and Torah is what the Japanese yelled when they bombed Pearl Harbor. So.
Yes, because Pearl Harbor was really the
Jews. They did it for the Jews. You ruined my joke, Joe.
They did it for the Jews. Yes, it explains everything. They were trying to get us in there so that way we'd be able to, save the Jews from the Holocaust. That's why they did it.
All right, we didn't answer his question.
Yeah. So okay, this is gonna. Bilam is a fascinating figure. Bilam was not Jewish, and we believe that he was a prophet. All the same, he's the only person who is not Jewish who we recognize as actually being a prophet and communicating directly with God. And there's all sorts of questions as to why he was a prophet. He was also very, very evil. He was very twisted. The story of Bilam, and it's very complicated because there likely were 2 different people who were named Bilam. One of them is recognized as being an advisor to Pharaoh and advising Pharaoh to drown the Jewish boys, and a different Bilam who pops up when they are traveling in the desert roughly 80 years later. And we don't believe it's the same person, although it's something even a lot of Orthodox Jews don't know. But because the one who's in the desert is in his 30s, so it just doesn't make sense with the same person. The one who is in his 30s, he is recognized as being a prophet. He did try to curse the Jews. He was someone who is considered terribly wicked and evil, and he likely didn't start that way, but became that way because of his he had that connection to God. And rabbinical sages say that the reason that God basically enabled this person who was in his youth an upstanding man to have prophecy was because he said, otherwise the other nations of the world will say, well, the reason that we didn't follow after God is because we never had a prophet. If we had a real prophet, we would have followed Torah, and we would have been, we would have been recognized by God and taken the role that the Jews took. So that's why God basically said, okay, we'll give you a prophet and we'll see how things go with that. And instead of using his prophecy to make society and the world a better place, he actually made society and the world a much worse place. He actually promoted prostitution. He was someone who was greedy and arrogant and basically and had a real jealousy for anyone who was getting any sort of honor and respect. So yeah, he was a really terrible human being, but that's what we understand as to why it is that God gave him prophecy. So I hope that answered your question. But he ended up advocating. He first tried cursing the Jews, and God didn't let him do it. It's a remarkable section of the Torah. It's the only section of the Torah from the time that Abraham is introduced until the end of the 5 books of Moses, where there's no part of the story of Bilam when he's trying to curse the Jews that he's interacting with Moses, the Jews. He's basically on a mountaintop with his king of Moab, who hires him and trying to curse the Jews. And there's a whole very detailed story, which is brought down. I want to say that this is roughly Numbers 18, around there, and chapter 18. And the fascinating thing about this is none of this is from the perspective of Abraham or any of his offspring. It's all basically telling over a story that the only way Moses, who wrote the 5 books, could have known about it is if he heard the story from God. Like God told him this is what happened, because it's a miracle that was saving Jews without Jews even being aware that there was anything benefiting them there. So yeah, so that's the story as far as Bill.
Is there like a margin for determining what a prophet is?
I don't understand what you mean.
I was making a profit margin joke, but it didn't really. Didn't really work out. So do you like the movie The 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston? You think it's a good movie?
As theater, yes. As informative, no.
Okay, I don't know. I think great.
I think it's a fun story as theater, but yeah, and I'll quote it all the time. But when I quote it like amongst my family and stuff like that, it's for comedic effect.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's really funny movie. It is.
Yeah. Where's your Moses now?
Yeah, see? I'm gonna get you, see, Moses.
Where's your Moses now? Yeah. So anyway, Dathan, who's there, is like the evil character. He does make repeated appearances throughout the 5 books of Moses, and it's something that like a lot of people are perplexed. Like, how is it that this guy wasn't killed off in all the different times that like Jews were dying off for doing this thing wrong, that thing wrong, and yet he and his brother Aviram were able to survive, and yet, you know. Anyway, I think that was a lot of Bible that we got tonight. A lot more than I've done in a while. But
I wasn't with you last week, so that's why we had to make up.
We had to catch up. On our Bible class.
So Kimmy Hunt for $1.99 says, "I bet Michael Cohen wrote it."
Nice
typing. Yeah.
Nice. I like
probably
it.
Something like that.
There's even, and by the way, the center typing, what you're pointing out there, the whole artistic element to it. I just can't even imagine Donald Trump doing anything like what that card is supposed to be. That's why I'm like, I don't think anyone actually believes he did it, because it seems so thoroughly out of character for Donald Trump that the only reason the left would keep bringing it up is just because you figure this is a great way to troll MAGA. Like, this will just annoy them. They have to like defend this stupid thing, which is obviously not him. And we tell them, no, look, it's written from Donald Trump. Look at his signature there. It totally looks like his signature. But I don't think anyone who is like serious would actually believe that. That was him. Anyway, that's what I got for tonight. But I will be back, God willing, on Saturday nights. We will be returning. And when I come back to you at that point, it'll probably be a late show, because Saturday nights, I don't finish with Sabbath and all that stuff till like close to 10 p.m. So it's probably gonna be a late night show, but God willing, I will be here on Saturday night. And Jim, want to tell people where they can find you?
You can find me. I put my link in the private chat.
Yeah.
You can find me on Jim Tells You on YouTube, on Rumble, on Kick, on Twitch, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on X. Jim Satala at Jim Satala on X. I do have a Jim Tells You account on X, and I just got that so no one else could get it, but I don't really use it.
Nice. I just wrote it.
And tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Friday night, 7 p.m. I will have a show.
Yeah, he's here when I'm not, which makes him great because he'll keep you informed, let you know what's going on.
I usually follow Robert Gavea.
There you go. You needs to know. And Robert Gavea is great lead-in for you.
Oh yeah.
Did I miss anything over in Rumble?
I
Are we
don't
good?
see anything.
All right, good. Well, I'm going to tell you all, I hope you have a phenomenal weekend. I thank you all for joining me, and God willing, I will see you on Saturday night, or you'll see me, or both. Who knows? Maybe my husband better. God only knows. Until then, have a phenomenal weekend. Lab meat, never meant for you, meant for they, them. Don't touch it, and do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Have a good night, everyone. And as always, Godspeed.